Chapter 740. Fake Moon. Chapter 740. Fake Moon. After Qin Yun got rid of the group of savages, he wandered around the forest. He doesn't know how to leave the Nether Moon desolate domain. Yuner, last time I used the power of the Nether Sun martial spirit to successfully enter the heavenly beast desolate domain. Can I use that method to leave this damned place? Qin Yun asked. No, this Nether Moon desolate domain space is very strong, much stronger than the heavenly beast desolate domain. Ling Yuner said, When I came in, I fell asleep because I was afraid of you. Otherwise, I would have definitely remembered the route. Qin Yun can only think of another way. Xiao Yun, there should be other things in this Nether Moon desolate domain. Such a big desolate domain can't be empty. Ling Yuner said, Maybe there are other people inside. If you can find other people, you can leave. I wonder where the sect master and the others went. Qin Yun sighed and said, Aunt Xiao should be very safe. Yu did not kill you, so she should not harm Aunt Xiao. Ling Yuner said. Qin Yun wandered around the forest for a few days, but did not encounter anything. He only felt that the moon is a bit strange. At night, Qin Yun flew very high. Looking at the moon, he infused his mental power into the third pearl of the Nine Sun Divine Spirit and transmitted his voice. Sister Yao Fong, I think that moon is a bit strange. Can you come out and take a look? Just as he finished speaking, a black gas rushed out and Yao Fong quickly came out. She also wanted Qin Yun to leave this place as soon as possible, so she will try her best to help Qin Yun. After Yao Fong saw the moon, she said with a frown, There is indeed something strange. You have been here for a few days, but this moon has always been full moon. It is not the moon we are familiar with. Qin Yun thought about it carefully and felt that it is the case. Then what moon is this? Qin Yun asked. The Nether Moon desolate domain should have a nether moon, and the nether moon is usually accompanied by a normal moon. During the day it is the nether moon and at night it is a normal moon. A normal moon won't always be full. Yao Fong said, That means that this moon is fake. Qin Yun said with a frown, This moon has always been hazy. I only thought that it was a fog. I didn't expect it to be fake. Yao Fong said again, During the day there is no black moon in the sky. That means the nether moon has been controlled by someone. This fake moon should be a relatively large star. Could it be that Yu has controlled the nether moon? Qin Yun suddenly felt that Yu has become even more powerful. No, if she controlled the nether moon, she would have already gone to the immortal desolate to take revenge. Yao Fong said, There are other powerful people in the nether moon desolate domain. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, That's not something I can deal with, I just want to go out. If you want to go out, go to that fake moon to investigate, maybe you will find some clues. Yao Fong finished speaking and returned inside the Nine Sun Divine Soul. The Nether Moon desolate domain is so big, he doesn't know where to go to find the exit. He can only do as Yao Fong says and fly to the fake moon in the sky. Yuner, this fake moon doesn't look fake at all. After Qin Yun approached, he said with smile, It seems like I can still sense the power of moon. If this is the case, then Mingyu is most likely up there. Ling Yuner said again. Could it be that the nether moon is hidden in the fake moon? Qin Yun is secretly excited. He increased his speed and flew over. While he was flying, he sensed other auras. There are people nearby. Ling Yuner shouted. Qin Yun promptly made his body transparent. Sure enough, there are people nearby. Moreover, there are many of them, they are in groups. That group of people are riding huge winged tigers, wearing silver armor and holding long spears. They are flying in an orderly manner in front of him. Are they trained soldiers? Qin Yun said in his heart. It should be. There should be something on that fake moon. Ling Yuner said in pleasant surprise. Quickly go up and take a look. That moon is indeed fake, it is not big. Because it is very close to the ground, it gives people the illusion that it is very big and round. There are many stones on the surface of the fake moon. Qin Yun made himself transparent as he carefully flew. I wonder if the group of people patrolling earlier were Yu's. Qin Yun wandered around on the fake moon. On the fake moon, he encountered those patrolling silver-armored soldiers from time to time, but none of them discovered him. Moreover, he was quietly following behind the silver-armored soldiers. He followed them for a long time, and when he saw the silver-armored soldiers fly away, he gave up. During the day, this fake moon is shrouded in thick fog, so it is very difficult to discover it. Qin Yun also understood why there is always so much fog during the day. The ground is shaking. Qin Yun promptly stopped and carefully sensed it. After a while, he discovered that the shaking is still continuing. Great, I can follow the source of the shaking and see who is fighting. Qin Yun has been worrying that he can't see anyone. He possesses the vibration martial spirit and is very sensitive to very slight vibrations. Therefore, he can follow the weak vibration power and find the source of the shaking. Qin Yun made his body transparent. After running for a long time, he finally saw a palace. I wonder if this is Yu's territory. Qin Yun is somewhat afraid of Yu. If he is captured, Yu will definitely bring him to some dangerous place. When he approached the palace, he encountered patrolling soldiers. This group of patrolling soldiers are wearing black armor and their aura is also very strong. They are all martial kings. Who is it? The leader suddenly shouted. Who. Then, a huge net was cast over them. Qin Yun hurriedly used his penetration divine ability, but he was unable to penetrate the net. Qin Yun also appeared. So there's a fish that escaped the net. Capture him and throw him into the dungeon. The leader shouted. This leader's strength was very strong. He had the aura of a martial emperor. This guy is pretty awesome. He actually managed to sneak in here. A black-armored middle-aged man walked over and stuffed Qin Yun and the net into a cage. After Qin Yun was locked in the cage, he immediately gave up. Because the cage is very strong, there are all kinds of inscription formations to prevent people from escaping. Xiao Yun, this is a cage used to immortals. You won't be able to escape for the time being. Ling Yuner said, Don't be afraid, Yao Fong is here. Qin Yun thought of Yao Fong and calmed down a little. Not long after, Qin Yun was brought into the ancient palace. The buildings inside are very simple and unadorned. Qin Yun was brought to a large house on the west side of the palace. There is a very deep hole in the house that leads to the ground. Go down! The middle-aged man threw the entire cage down. Boom! The cage heavily landed on the ground. Qin Yun only felt some discomfort, but he did not suffer any injuries. After he fell down, a few people came over to open the cage. What shocked Qin Yun is that among those people, 2 of them are martial emperors and the rest are martial kings. This nether moon desolate domain is indeed not simple. Qin Yun secretly exclaimed. After the cage was opened, Qin Yun's body was covered with a net and he was unable to escape. Then, he was dragged to a place. This dungeon is very dark, but Qin Yun can clearly see the things inside. What he found inconceivable is that this dungeon is very large. It is like an underground palace. There are many large and small cages. There are some large cages with gigantic beasts that are tens of meters long imprisoned inside. The people imprisoned in this dungeon are all beasts. Ling Yun can call out the names of many beasts. They are all from the ancient era and are very rare now. Why are there so many beasts gathered here? Qin Yun is extremely alarmed. They should have been captured, and they have been imprisoned for many years. Ling Yun said, There is a special kind of energy in this dungeon that can sustain the consumption of beasts. Could it be the energy provided by the nether moon? While Qin Yun and Ling Yun were talking, he was also thrown into a very small cage. The cage is indeed very small compared to the beasts, but it is very big for Qin Yun. Qin Yun feels that with Yao Fong here, this place will definitely not be able to hold him. He is also very curious about what kind of secret is hidden on this fake moon. Ao ao ao. Suddenly, a burst of cries came from the dark cage. Qin Yun saw a black thing scurrying out from the haystack. Qin Yun looked carefully and saw that it is a black pig that is neither big nor small. Is that what a pig says? Qin Yun looked at the pig and felt that it is somewhat strange. He shook his head and said with a smile, "You are the pig." The pig actually spoke. Qin Yun is stunned and said with a smile, "You can talk? Then tell me, if you are not a pig, what are you?" "I am the father of the heavenly king," the black pig said loudly. "The father of the heavenly king? Who is that?" Qin Yun shook his head and smiled. "You stupid mortal, even if I tell you, you won't understand," the black pig said with sneer and then walked towards Qin Yun. Although it is dark here, the black pig's vision is very good. He looked at Qin Yun. His eyes that do not look like pig eyes are filled with shock. "It's you!" the black pig cried out in alarm. "You were also caught, how is this possible?" "You recognize me?" Qin Yun said with a frown. "Little brother, I am your big brother." "You don't recognize me?" the black pig shouted. "You are my big brother? Don't joke around." Qin Yun looked at the black pig and cannot help but laugh. "Immortal King Fu Yun, it's me. I am your big brother Heavenly King, don't you recognize me?" the black pig shouted. "Little brother Yun, I will not mistake your stinky face even if I die, it must be you." Qin Yun's brows twitched, he suddenly recalled his past life. He also doesn't know what his past life's name was. Now that the black pig called him Immortal King Fu Yun, he suddenly feels that it is very likely to be true. I really know you?" Qin Yun said with a frown. "Little brother Yun, it's really you. Very good, haha." Chapter 741. Imperial Beast Heavenly King Qin Yun is unable to accept that his big brother is a pig. "You brat, why are you so hostile?" the black pig shouted. "Little brother Yun, you don't recognize big brother Heavenly King?" "I'm sorry, I don't have such a big brother in my memory," Qin Yun shouted. "Don't come over!" the black pig fiercely shouted. "Little brother Yun, why are you so weak? What about your immortal king cultivation?" Qin Yun is also baffled. He never expected that there would be so many acquaintances from his previous life in the Nether Moon Desolate Domain. "My name is Qin Yun, I'm not some immortal King Fu Yun," Qin Yun said. "I understand, you must have died and then reincarnated." The black pig sighed. "You actually died, it's really unexpected." Qin Yun coughed dryly twice. "Brother Pig, can you tell me how to leave the Nether Moon Desolate Domain?" the black pig quickly asked. "Then tell me what happened outside. How did you come in?" Qin Yun simply told the black pig about the huge silver coffin and then told him that there is a problem with the moon. He came up to take a look and was caught. "Let me calm down. The exit of the Nether Moon Desolate Domain has not been sealed," the black pig said. At this time, Qin Yun sent a sound transmission to Yao Fong in the Nine Sun Divine Spirit's third pearl. "Sister Yao Fong, I was captured and locked in a cage. Then I met a pig. He said that I am some immortal King Fu Yun and that he is the Heavenly King, my big brother from my previous life." After Yao Fong heard this, she cried out in alarm. "Heavenly King? You indeed have such a big brother. He is also very famous in the Immortal Desolate. Legend has it that he is a very strong heavenly beast, but no one has ever seen his true body." "Fuck, is this guy really my big brother?" Qin Yun sat on the ground and looked at the black pig. "Tell me the specific situation," Yao Fong said. Qin Yun told Yao Fong about the situation inside the cage. This Nether Moon Desolate Domain is indeed hiding many secrets. Even the Heavenly King has been captured. Yao Fong's voice is grave. "You brat, you are too unlucky. Even if it's me, it would be difficult to escape. What is the origin of that Heavenly King? He's actually stronger than you?" exclaimed Qin Yun. According to the rankings back then, the strongest were the Devil Immortal Great Emperor and the Immortal Desolate Great Emperor, followed by the 8 Heavenly Kings. Your big brother Heavenly King is called Imperial Beast Heavenly King, Yao Fong said. Qin Yun said again, Sister Yao Fong, this pig doesn't have any strength now. Of course he can't escape. Yao Fong was startled and said in a hurry, Ask him where all his power went. Qin Yun patted the black pig and asked, Brother Pig, you should be very strong. Where's your power? They were all taken by that bastard immortal emperor. Then he threw me here. Back then, I disappeared for a period of time and was locked up here, the Heavenly King Pig said. Qin Yun immediately reported this matter to Yao Fong. Yao Fong thought for a bit. It seems like Immortal Emperor wants to cultivate Immortal Devil Body. The Heavenly King Pig said again, My luck is good, my soul is still here. As for the others, their souls had already been extracted, leaving only their bodies behind. They would soon be eaten. Fortunately, I'm small, so I haven't been killed and eaten. Brother Pig, then you really don't know how to get out? Qin Yun asked again. Only one person knows how to get out, the Heavenly King Pig said. Who? Qin Yun promptly asked. You. The Heavenly King Pig said. Qin Yun rolled his eyes at it. The Heavenly King Pig said in pleasant surprise, Little brother Yun, did you remember something? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, No. Although I haven't awakened my past life's memories, Yu hates me to death. The Heavenly King Pig said with frown, This doesn't make sense. If you didn't seal her here, would she be able to live until now? Back then, you deliberately caused her to be besieged, because you wanted to lock her up here so that she could devour the Nether Moon and cultivate the Nether Moon's sacred body. There's such a thing? Then why didn't I just tell her and let her in? Qin Yun abruptly stood up. I made her hate me for so long and she even said that she suffered a lot in here. This damned woman. The Heavenly King Pig said, I don't know about that. In short, you left an exit so that she could leave this damned place. You even secretly came to find me and said that you would come and save me in the future. It seems like I can only know what happened after I awaken my past life's memories. Qin Yun let out a long sigh. He tried the mysterious penetration divine ability, but it was useless. Ling Yuner said, Xiao Yun, you deliberately framed Yu and locked her up here. It should have been to help her get rid of some danger and at the same time, let her obtain the Nether Moon. But she misunderstood. Let's not talk about this anymore. The most important thing for me now is to leave this damned place. Qin Yun walked back and forth in the prison. The Heavenly King Pig saw Qin Yun constantly attacking the cage and said, Little brother Yun, it's useless. Suddenly, Qin Yun sensed that slight vibration again. There should be a fight up there. Qin Yun said. It's best if this place is destroyed, haha. The Heavenly King Pig said with a laugh. Oh, that's right, Brother Pig, was my past life really that bad? Qin Yun asked. That woman Yu hated me to the bone. Not really. I think you're a pretty good person. The Heavenly King Pig chuckled and said, However, you provoke some powerful women, but isn't that normal? Normal, your grandpa. Qin Yun thought of Yu's killing intent and secretly felt fear. Little brother Yun. You don't know, but back then, many people were very envious of the women around you because they could easily obtain the good immortal tools you refined. I only know that you had some conflict with them and then started fighting and killing, but I think it's very normal. The Heavenly King Pig said with a laugh. Qin Yun said, Brother Pig, how can I break this cage? The Heavenly King Pig thought for a moment. Use fire. If it's the 9th Heaven Xian flame, it can be broken. Qin Yun thought of Yang Yang, this little duck. She is a 9th Heaven Xian sparrow, a very powerful divine beast, but now she is still sleeping. Qin Yun, I'll go out and give it a try. Yao Fong said. After she finished speaking, she appeared in the cage. After the Heavenly King Pig sensed the power, he immediately cried out in alarm. So powerful, who are you? Yao Fong did not say a word. She can only let out a hoarse shout and then released a very strong black power. The black iron rod on the cage also gradually melted. At this moment, the spirit formation was also suddenly broken. After Yao Fong finished, she became extremely weak and promptly entered the 9 Sun Divine Soul's third pearl. Qin Yun, I want to rest for a period of time. You take care of yourself, Yao Fong said to Qin Yun. Because the cage has been destroyed, the people inside have been alarmed. Qin Yun promptly picked up the excited Heavenly King Pig and used shadow power to hide in the darkness. Inside the dungeon, only the cage can block divine ability power. Once he comes out of the cage, Qin Yun can use mysterious penetration divine ability. Qin Yun carried the Heavenly King Pig and used mysterious penetration divine ability to penetrate through and arrived on the ground. In order to move more conveniently, Qin Yun promptly stuffed the Heavenly King Pig into the 9 Sun Divine Soul's second pearl. The Heavenly King Pig finally left the cage that imprisoned him for several tens of thousands of years. He excitedly cried and shouted. He is very grateful to this old brother of his. Qin Yun can't care about the Heavenly King Pig for now. He very carefully hid in the darkness and used shadow power. Previously, he had been caught because he had turned himself transparent, which was why he had been discovered. If he uses shadow power, it would be very difficult for others to discover him. The sky is so bright, he doesn't dare to run around to avoid being caught again. Qin Yun hid in a dark and dense underbrush. As long as the light is not too intense, he can hide in the darkness. There are more and more people here, they are all here to search for him, because no one has ever escaped that dungeon. Little brother Yun, who is that black-skinned person? Pretty awesome, she actually destroyed the cage. The Heavenly King Pig shouted from inside the 9 Sun Divine Soul. I don't know her either. Her name is Yao Fong, have you heard of her? She's a woman. Qin Yun said, and she was cursed by the Devil Immortal Great Emperor. I don't know her. The Devil Immortal Great Emperor actually cursed someone. How rare. It seems like that woman is really strong. The Heavenly King Pig chuckled and said, Little brother Yun, you are really awesome, you actually have such a strong woman by your side. Brother Pig, have you thought about your future plans? Your cultivation is gone, what will you do in the future? Qin Yun asked. Don't worry. Once I leave the Nether Moon Desolate Domain, I will be able to cultivate again and quickly become a powerful immortal king. The Heavenly King Pig laughed happily and said, Little brother Yun, although you have reincarnated and don't have the memories of your previous life, you kept your promise and saved me. Qin Yun also felt that it is somewhat sudden. He met his big brother from his previous life. Night time. Qin Yun also dared to walk. He followed the direction of the earthquake and carefully walked over. Although there are many people here, they can't discover him. Shadow power is still the best, Qin Yun said. Of course. After all, this is the power of the Nether Sun martial spirit. Ling Yuner said, just making yourself transparent is not enough. From time to time, there are tremors coming from inside the palace. Qin Yun arrived at the southeast direction. There is a huge plaza there. As soon as he arrived, he saw Yu Yu. Yu Yu is dressed in black, her beautiful silver hair fluttered in the wind. She is wearing a mask and her face cannot be seen. Other than Yu Yu, there are many other people here. Bao Changshuo, Jian Shitian, Xiao Xianqin and Yang Shiyue are also here. Qin Yun quickly discovered that there are 2 factions of people here. Bao Changshuo, Jian Shitian, Old Mother Yun Yao and the others are from Yu Yu's faction. Their overall number is very small. As for the other faction, there are many people from the Long family and the Medicine Immortal Valley. They are the forces that oppose Jian Shitian and the others. The leader of the other faction is a handsome young man with silver-white hair and black armor. The handsome young man said with a proud smile, Yu Yu, although you brought these people in the end, most of them stood on my side. From this, it can be seen that you don't have any prestige at all. Chapter 742. Moon Qin-yun watched from afar. He wanted to see what would happen next and who would go up to fight. Although Yang Shiyu had also appeared, no one recognized her because she was wearing a mask. Qin-yun was very familiar with Yang Shiyu, so he could tell from her back. Suddenly, a golden-armored middle-aged soldier charged toward the evil figure. "What's so urgent?" Xiang asked coldly. "A pig escaped from the beast trapping dungeon." The soldier said, "That pig seems to be the imperial beast Heavenly King. How is this possible? The heavenly beasts inside don't have any immortal energy left, so they can't escape from that cage." Xieying's face was full of surprise as he shouted in a low voice, "Hurry up and search. You must catch that guy." "I've searched, I can't find any traces," the golden-armored middle-aged man said. The soldier did not mention anything about imprisoning Qin-yun. He was worried that he would be blamed. "You must find that pig. When sacrificing the nether moon, I need enough heavenly beast blood." "Oh right, have you found that star nucleus?" "It's in the mountains outside. It should be easy to find it, right?" Xiang asked again. At the mention of the star nucleus, Qin-yun and Shao Xianqin's hearts skipped a beat. The crystal mountain was the star nucleus. Qin-yun had already taken it. "I didn't find anything, not even a single clue." The golden-armored man shook his head. At this moment Yu said with a frown, "Xiang, your subordinates are too useless. That planetary core is at least as big as a mountain, and you even have detection equipment. The passage has been open for so long, and you still haven't found it? Back then, I spent so much effort to bring the star down, and you swore that you could retrieve the star core. What about now? Without the stellar nucleus, we cannot awaken Nether Moon." Yu is very angry. Xiang sneered and said, "Nether Moon is under my control now. It's not yours. What are you worrying about?" Yu said angrily, "As long as my people defeat your people in this competition, Nether Moon will be mine. But your stupid subordinates let the sacrificial heavenly beast escape, and you still can't find the star nucleus. I have a lot of heavenly beasts, one less pig doesn't matter. As for the stellar core, apart from us, who else can keep it? Without an immortal artifact-level storage magic treasure, it is impossible to put it in. Sooner or later we will find it," Xiang said. Shao Xianqin is secretly alarmed because Qin-yun was able to store the Crystal Mountain's star nucleus. She also knows that Qin-yun has an immortal artifact-level storage magic treasure. Shao Xianqin did not speak carelessly about this matter. Otherwise, Qin-yun would definitely become a target. When Qin-yun learned of this matter, he became inexplicably excited. That's because the Nether Moon hasn't been snatched away. Qin-yun immediately contacted Yao Feng and informed her of this matter. "Qin-yun, this is good news. If my guess is not wrong, the Nether Moon is hidden in the center of this fake moon." Yao Feng is also somewhat excited. "If you can obtain it, it will be very important for you." Without another word, Qin-yun hurriedly cast his penetration divine ability and burrowed into the ground. And above, Yu and Xie also sent people out to compete in the next round. "Sister Yao Feng, I have star nucleus but I don't have heavenly beast blood," Qin-yun said. "Why do you want heavenly beast blood? If you use the Nether Sun martial spirit, you can easily capture the Nether Moon." Yao Feng said, "If it doesn't work, then let your big brother Pig bleed." Qin-yun looked at the second Pearl's Heavenly King Pig. He is actually sleeping soundly. He recalled what the Heavenly King Pig said. Back then, he deliberately let Yu come here so that she could cultivate the Nether Moon's sacred body through the Nether Moon. But later on, Yu was unable to obtain the Nether Moon. Qin-yun told Yao Feng about Yu's matter. After Yao Feng heard this, she also felt that it is inconceivable and said, "Don't worry about Yu now. You need to quickly raise your cultivation, and Yu is a powerful, immortal king. Even if her power is sealed, she is still a very powerful immortal. You should obtain the nether moon first. Qin Yun constantly used his penetration divine ability and headed towards the center of the fake moon. Half an hour passed and Qin Yun finally arrived at the core of the fake moon. This is a spacious and empty space. There is a large black pearl that is dozens of meters wide, and there are many white runes on its surface. Is it the moon totem? But it doesn't look like it, Qin Yun said in surprise. It's the nether moon totem. Ling Yuner said, this is a good thing. Qin Yun originally wanted to let Yao Fong come out, but she was worried that Yu and Xie Ying would sense it, so she did not come out. Xie Ying is the right-hand man of the immortal emperor. I didn't expect him to be here as well. He should be here for the nether moon. Yao Fong coldly snorted and said, Yu is really a stupid girl. It's so rare for her to enter the nether moon desolate domain. After tens of thousands of years, she actually can't get the nether moon. Sister Yao Fong, does that mean that Yu had the opportunity to be sealed in the nether moon desolate domain because she was framed by me? Qin Yun asked. Yes. This was originally a good thing for her, but she didn't succeed in getting the nether moon. Yao Fong also feels that it is strange because the nether moon desolate domain is not completely sealed. Clearly, someone left an entrance and exit. And back then, there were not many people who could do this. Qin Yun's past life was one of them. Because Qin Yun's past life was a very powerful inscription master. Qin Yun looked at the huge black ball and curled his lips and said, Is this the nether moon? It looks very small. How can I take it? Yao Fong said, Didn't you say that you obtained a crystal mountain before? Isn't there a pearl inside the crystal mountain? That pearl is the nether moon's soul. After the nether moon absorbs it, you can take it away. Ling Yuner shouted excitedly, Xiao Yun, I will definitely be able to successfully take away this nether moon. Qin Yun hurriedly released the crystal mountain. The space in the center of this fake moon is very large. It is not a problem to put a few mountains inside. As soon as the crystal mountain appeared, the white pearl inside the mountain suddenly flickered, then turned into a beam of light and rushed out, flying towards the nether moon. The nether moon originally looked lifeless, but after absorbing the nether moon's soul, it suddenly rotated. Without the nether moon's soul, Qin Yun can easily keep the crystal mountain. It contains a lot of star power and is the food of the Devil Star Overlord. It's my turn. Ling Yuner laughed loudly and said, Little darling nether moon, quickly come to Big Sister's bowl. Ling Yuner controlled the Nether Sun martial spirit and released the power of the Nether Sun Dao core. The Nether Sun Dao core crazily rotated and released a strange devouring power. The nether moon gradually distorted and then transformed into a stream of aura that rushed towards Qin Yun's abdomen. The huge nether moon overflowed with a black mist. After being absorbed by Qin Yun, it also became smaller bit by bit. In this way, the nether moon quietly entered Qin Yun's Nether Sun Dao core bit by bit. Yuner, isn't my Nether Sun Dao core a bit heaven-defying? Such a small thing can actually devour this nether moon. Qin Yun said in surprise. This nether moon is just a small thing. What's more, the nether sun can devour the 9 suns. What is a mere little nether moon? Ling Yuner said with a very happy smile. Qin Yun doesn't know what benefits the nether moon has to him. He only knows that it is a good thing. As long as he can take it away, it will definitely not be a bad thing. Qin Yun is at the core of the fake moon, and on the surface of the fake moon, a fierce battle is taking place. Martial kings, martial emperors, half-immortals, although our side is strong, our numbers are too few. They are playing attrition warfare, we can't win against them. Yang Shuriwa said in low voice. If we can't win, then we can't win. Even if the nether moon belongs to Xie Ying in the end, he doesn't have the nether moon soul in the star nucleus, so he won't be able to obtain it. Yu cursed in low voice. I've been here for so many years and I've attacked this place a few times, but I still can't do anything to the nether moon. You have the nether moon martial spirit, is there no way at all? Yang Shuriwa asked. I can't devour the nether moon at all. Yu said somewhat angrily. That bastard framed me and locked me in this damned place, I admit it. After all, there is still the nether moon here, but in the end, I can't get it. After Xiao Xianqin heard this, she slightly frowned. If this is really the case, then it is obvious that Qin Yun deliberately arranged it. It's all because you're too stupid. If Xiao Yun came in, he would have already succeeded. Yang Shuriwa said with a chuckle. Don't mention that bastard. This guy provoked so many enemies for me and caused me to be locked up here for tens of thousands of years. If it wasn't for you, I would have killed him long ago. Yu became even angrier. I admit that bastard has remarkable abilities, but even he won't be able to succeed. Bao Changshuo, Old Mother Yunyao, Jian Shitian and the others are all exhausted from fighting. And no one from Yu's side can go on stage. They have already lost. Yu, back then the immortal emperor agreed to seal you. It was also to conveniently bring me in here to seize the nether moon. After so many years, I'm about to succeed. Ha 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 ha. Xie Ying laughed wildly. Xiang, so what if you have the nether moon? You can't get out. As long as you are an immortal, you won't be able to leave the silver coffin. And only I know where the other exit is. Yu laughed loudly and said, If you want to leave, give me the nether moon. Otherwise, even if you obtain the nether moon, you can only continue to stay here. What? The silver coffin is actually not the real exit? Xie Ying shouted. To us immortals, it's not, ha ha ha. Yu very happily laughed loudly. Where is the other exit? Xiang roared. You actually dared to lie to me. You told me that the silver coffin is the exit. Can't your subordinates go out? I didn't lie to you. Yu sneered. You slut. Xiang really wanted to kill his way over, but he also knows that his strength is about the same as Yu's. He can't beat her. At this time, Qin Yun also left the core area. After hearing their conversation, he said in his heart, My past life indeed told Yu the true exit. But why does this woman still hate me so much? Let's go. Yu laughed coldly and left with Jian Shitian and the others. Jian Shitian, Bao Changshuo and the others are willing to fight for Yu. Clearly, they have received corresponding rewards. Yu flew away with a group of people. Xie Ying can only stare blankly. And Qin Yun also took advantage of this moment to send a voice transmission to Xiao Xianqin. Aunt Xiao, I am Qin Yun. When you leave a secret mark. I want to go to Yu's lair. After Xiao Xianqin heard this, she is secretly alarmed. She never expected that Qin Yun would secretly run over here. She promptly responded to Qin Yun and told him the specific direction. Chapter 743. Chateau Xiao Xianqin also learned from Yang Shuryu that Yu brought Qin Yun in. She is also very angry in her heart because Yu promised her to let Qin Yun leave. Later on, she also learned about the grudge between Yu and Qin Yun's past life. Although she can understand, she is still somewhat worried about Qin Yun. Knowing that Qin Yun was nearby, Xiao Xianqin did not tell anyone. Qin Yun did not contact Yang Shuriwa because he was worried that her actions would attract Yu's attention and she would discover him sneaking in. Yu is very strong, so in front of those half-immortals, she is a king-like existence. According to Yao Feng, a portion of Yu's strength has been sealed, but she is still very strong. Qin Yun followed behind carefully. He used shadow power and penetration divine ability to advance deep underground. As for Xiao Xianqin, she left behind some purple crystal coins along the way for Qin Yun to sense. Xiao Xianqin is also somewhat restless because she is afraid of being discovered by Yu while helping Qin Yun. Yu brought Jian Shitian and the others and flew very quickly. Yu must have promised some benefits to Jian Shitian and the others, that's why they helped fight. However, in the end, they still lost. Ling Yuner said with a smile. It doesn't matter anyway, Nether Moon is already in your hands. Xiao Yun, how do you plan on teaching Yu a lesson? Will you give her Nether Moon? Qin Yun said. I won't give it to her. She is not fated with Mingyu. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that Yu is too useless. She has been here for tens of thousands of years, yet she did not obtain the Nether Moon. Of course, that Xie Ying is also the same. He is only a bit better than Yu. He can only control the Nether Moon. Qin Yun followed for more than half a day and arrived at the top of a tall mountain. There was a huge black ancient castle there. This is Yu's residence. Qin Yun hid on a rock outside and looked at the ancient castle. He said with a frown, This Yu, after being here for so many years, she lived in such a damned place? This was the peak of a tall mountain. The surroundings were bare, without a single plant. The castle was also black, looking somewhat gloomy and frightening. It gets even darker at night. Qin Yun, who was hiding outside the ancient castle, used shadow power and carefully sneaked in. After entering, there was a brightly lit lobby. In the middle of the hall, there is a very large battling platform. Bao Changshu and the group of people who came in from the outside are all sitting below the battling platform to rest. Chu Binyu is not only tired but also injured. He has played a lot of matches. Yu also knows that Bao Changshu and others have done their best. She also felt that she had a good eye. The people she had roped in were all quite strong. There were also some people who came over to give Bao Changshu and the others elixirs or help treat their injuries. Yu stood on the battle stage and said, I am very grateful to everyone for coming out to fight. Although I did not win in the end, I will keep my promise and compensate everyone. At this moment, a few young men walked out. Their black clothes were more luxurious than many of the people in the castle. As soon as the 4 young men entered, the other people in the castle all knelt down and saluted them. Qin Yun hid behind a pillar. It is rather dark here, so no one discovered him. After seeing the 4 youths, he thought, Yuner, aren't those 4 guys very special? It seems that they are only at the Spirit Martial Realm and Xian Martial Realm. Even the Martial King has to kneel to them. Of course, only Yu's subordinates are kneeling. Jian Shitian and the others won't casually kneel. They all have immortal body and have cultivated immortal blood. Apart from that, they also seem to have very strong mental power. Could it be that their mental power has transformed into moon? Ling Yuner said in astonishment. Those 4 youths are extremely arrogant. 2 of them are at the Xian Martial Realm and 2 are at the peak of the Spirit Martial Realm. After they walked onto the battle stage, the strongest youth looked at Jian Shitian and the others and said with sneer, Queen, these guys have already lost the battle and yet you still want to reward them? Get rid of them and settle everything. The saved resources can also be given to us. After Jian Shitian and the others heard this, they abruptly stood up and looked at the youths. Yu said coldly, The 4 of you don't speak nonsense. Soon after, she apologized to Jian Shitian and the others and calmed them down. Queen, what's wrong with you? Are you really going to waste resources on this group of trash? The youth said coldly. Xiao Xianqin felt very uncomfortable hearing these words. Because she is also a member of Demon Moon Island and Old Mother Yun Yao participated in the battle earlier. Only in the eyes of trash, everything you see is trash. Xiao Xianqin said coldly. Her temper is also not good, so she did not give the 4 youths any face. Are you very powerful? Do you want to fight? A slightly short youth sneered and said, Although I am at the peak of the Spirit Martial Realm, I can defeat you with 1 hand. Yu said, Yu Qin, don't fight with them. They are all carefully selected by me to be nurtured. They have cultivated immortal body and immortal blood, as well as mental transformation into moon. You are not their match right now. Yu's words caused Bao Changshu and the others to burst into an uproar. Cultivating immortal body and immortal blood is already very powerful. Furthermore, mental transformation into moon means that they possess very strong mental power. I'm not afraid of them. Xiao Xianqin held her breath and said coldly, I want to fight with them and let them know how much trash they are. Alright. Yu Yu's eyes flickered and she said, See you, if you defeat him, I'll give you a nether moon Xian core. That short youth's name is See You. From his name, he should be ranked 4th. Alright, I will definitely defeat her. See Yu's face became gloomy and cold. Yang Shiryu is wearing a mask, her eyes are filled with worry. At this moment, Qin Yun sent a voice transmission to Xiao Xianqin. Aunt Xiao, do you want me to teach those guys a lesson? Don't attack first. I'll do it. Xiao Xianqin never expected Qin Yun to be so powerful. He is actually in this lobby and he was not discovered by Yu Yu. After Qin Yun devoured the nether moon, his concealment became even more powerful. It'll be fine, Yu Yu said to Yang Shiryu and pulled her down the battle stage. She waved her hand and opened the barrier around the battle stage. Others also want to see how strong the disciple that Yu Yu meticulously nurtured is. In fact, over the years, Yu Yu has also nurtured many powerful martial artists. Many of her subordinates are martial kings and martial emperors. Furthermore, that group of savages were also nurtured by her. However, the status of those 4 youths is relatively high. No one knows why. The martial arts competition began. See Yu's speed is the fastest. In an instant, he turned into a black shadow and shot towards Xiao Xianqin like a black light. Xiao Xianqin's reaction is also not slow. Her figure flashed and dodged See Yu's attack. Soon after, See Yu is like a light shadow, shooting back and forth on the battle stage. His speed is extremely fast, causing people to be dazzled. The most surprising thing is that Xiao Xianqin can actually dodge. Xiao Xianqin doesn't dare to fight See Yu head-on because See Yu's strength is extremely formidable. Aunt Xiao doesn't have immortal body and immortal blood, she will definitely suffer. Qin Yun said with a frown, that See Yu is indeed very strong. He is only peak spirit martial realm. Suddenly, a weak aura of divine ability power surged out. Qin Yun's heart trembled. See Yu used a divine ability. Rumble. On the battle stage, a large amount of thunder and lightning suddenly burst out, crackling and jumping crazily. Ling Yuner shouted, a very powerful divine ability. That guy has a black thunder martial spirit, so he comprehended a divine ability. There are 3 situations where one possesses a divine ability. The most common is when a soul refiner helps to fuse with a divine ability martial spirit and then awaken a blue divine ability martial spirit. The rarest is to possess a black martial spirit and then at every stage, one can comprehend the power of a divine ability. That See Yu's power is black, clearly he possesses a black martial spirit. This kind of divine ability power is also the strongest. Xiao Xianqin was immediately covered by the black thunder and lightning. She was unable to dodge because the battle stage is only so big and the thunder and lightning covered the entire battle stage. At this moment, a light and agile zither string sound rang out, bringing along a vibrating sound wave that scattered all the black thunder and lightning around. Then, a black ancient zither appeared in Xiao Xianqin's hand. She gently stroked the ancient zither, releasing a strange and mysterious music sound. See Yu was just about to attack, but after hearing that sound, his body unconsciously lay down. Queen, she used a weapon! Below the battle stage, the leading young man shouted. That's her martial spirit. Yu Yu is not surprised at all. At this moment, the 3 youths outside also shouted loudly, telling See Yu to quickly get up. This should also be a kind of mental attack, right? Aunt Zhao's mental power must also be moon transformation. Qin Yun is secretly pleasantly surprised. Aunt Xiao definitely has 2 martial spirits. Ling Yuner said, She might even have a moon martial spirit. The music played by Xiao Xianqin has hypnotic power, causing Siyu to fall asleep in an instant. Just as Xiao Xianqin felt relieved, Siyu's body suddenly moved and fiercely jumped up. Don't even think about using this kind of demonic technique to deal with me. Siyu laughed sinisterly and said, Trash like you is not my match at all. Siyu flew over. His fists are filled with violent black thunder and black gas. Qin Yun is very familiar with this kind of situation. It is the formidable power bestowed by black martial spirit possession. Aunt Xiao, you have to worry. Qin Yun clenched his fists tightly. He is very worried about Xiao Xianqin. Xiao Xianqin vigorously plucked the zither strings and released a very strong force. Accompanied by the sound wave from the zither strings, Siyu was sent flying. Siyu, who is rushing over, is also covered in wounds from the sound wave from the zither strings. Yu suddenly shouted, Yueqin Siyu, your strength is about the same. How about it be considered a draw? Alright. Xiao Xianqin immediately agreed. No. I don't accept it. Siyu shouted. However, the barrier has already been removed and Yu is standing on the battle platform. Siyu is very unhappy and said, Queen, why are you protecting her? If we continue fighting, I will definitely win. Yang Shiyue said with sneer, If we continue fighting, the one who will lose will definitely be you. You are only late-stage spirit martial realm, and yet you dare to be impudent here? Don't tell me you want to fight me too? Siyu laughed loudly. Let's fight. I will make you lose very badly. Yang Shiyue said coldly. I have seen you without a mask before, you are a great beauty. How about this, if you lose, you will specially reproduce for me? Siyu laughed sinisterly. Siyu, if you fight with her, you will die. Yu seems to have sensed Yang Shiyue's anger and quickly said to her, Don't lower yourself to Siyu's level. Chapter 744. Provoking the Queen. Qin Yun is all smiles. He rolled up his sleeves and walked towards the battle stage. He calmly looked at Yu on the battle stage. Yu's face under the mask is also filled with astonishment. She never expected that Qin Yun would actually be here. Yang Shiyue is also the same. Jian Shitian and the others are not that surprised because Qin Yun often appears and disappears like a ghost. Why are you here? Yu's voice is filled with incomparable anger. When she saw Qin Yun's face, hatred surged up in her heart. Wasn't I tricked into coming here by you? Qin Yun laughed loudly. Yu, after seeing this great uncle, why aren't you taking off your mask and smiling for me? After Siyu heard this, he promptly rushed over and shouted angrily, You dare to be impudent towards the queen, are you tired of living? Siyu rushed over and punched Qin Yun. The explosive thunder and lightning power caused the floor tiles of the lobby to tremble. Trash! Qin Yun promptly took action and directly used piercing heavenly fingers, piercing mountain, splitting earth finger to stab Siyu's fist. Rumble! A deafening explosion accompanied by a violent and ferocious energy wave enveloped the entire lobby. Siyu promptly retreated a few steps, his face filled with shock. His arm is also bleeding and trembling. Qin Yun is also secretly alarmed. He thought that his attack would be able to shatter Siyu's arm, but it was still blocked by him. I am only late-stage spirit martial realm. You are a peak spirit martial realm martial master, yet you were beaten back by me. Aren't you a bit too weak? Qin Yun faintly smiled. The martial kings and martial emperors who knelt in front of Siyu and the others are all dumbstruck. Someone actually said that Siyu is very weak. It must be known that Siyu and the others are all born with immortal body and black martial spirit. After going through many experiences, they have become very powerful and their cultivation of immortal body is very profound. But now, someone actually said that they are weak. Qin Yun also experienced the strength of immortal devil body. If it was before, he would have been beaten to his knees if he met someone at Siyu's level. Bao Changsho and the others also know that Qin Yun once defeated people with devil and immortal blood, so they are not surprised at Qin Yun's strength. You fought me fair and square. Si Yu's hand trembled as he shouted angrily. Qin Yun lightly flew over the battle stage and stood in front of Yu Yu. Yang Shi quickly pulled Yu Yu. Yu Yu suppressed the anger in her heart and said, Yu Yu, as long as you defeat this bastard, I will give you 10 nether moon xian pills. Qin Yun said with smile. Giving him 100 pills is useless. Yu Yu, you useless thing. You used tens of thousands of years and still failed to obtain the nether moon. The people you nurture will definitely be trash. What did you say? Yu Yu immediately flew into a rage and raised her palm to slap Qin Yun. I said, you are a useless thing. Qin Yun said with sneer. Could it be that you are not? It's been tens of thousands of years, and you can't even subdue nether moon. Alright. Just you wait. Yu Yu also suffered a blow because Qin Yun hit her sore spot. When she was sent into the nether moon desolate domain, she knew that there was a nether moon here. However, after tens of thousands of years, she did not obtain it. She had tried a lot, but she still couldn't get her hands on it. Yu Yu pulled Yang Shirue down the battle stage and waved her hand to open the barrier. Begin. Yu Yu shouted. Everyone can see that Yu Yu has suffered a great provocation. This kind of anger caused many people to feel fear. Si Yu stood on the battle stage and looked at the smiling Qin Yun. He is also extremely angry. You can't use that arm anymore. Qin Yun looked at Si Yu's trembling arm and faintly smiled. I can defeat you with one finger. Si Yu shouted in a deep voice. Suddenly, violent thunder and lightning appeared on the battle stage. This is the power of his divine ability. Countless black thunder and lightning hacked down on Qin Yun's body. All kinds of violent black thunder and lightning repeatedly penetrated Qin Yun's body. And the most terrifying thing is that Qin Yun's expression is calm. He is standing there motionless. He is not affected by the lightning at all. Everyone is shocked because Qin Yun is only late-stage spirit martial realm. He can actually withstand the power of a peak-stage spirit martial realm divine ability. Stop pretending. Si Yu believes that Qin Yun is forcefully enduring. Because all the opponents he met in the past, as long as they are on the same level, they are extremely afraid of this move. You trash, you actually want to take advantage of Big Sister Yang. Qin Yun furiously shouted in his heart. His body suddenly flashed and arrived behind Si Yu. He attacked with Extinction Dragon 5 palms. The exploding black thunder and lightning all around immediately turned into black heavenly lightning lion. Moreover, they are emitting black flames. Qin Yun's palm also turned into heavenly lion claw and hit Si Yu's face. Boom! Extinction Dragon 5 palms fell. Heavenly lions roared in anger, their might overflowed to the sky. The heavenly lion's heavenly roar caused everyone to sink into a state of panic. That Si Yu's eyes turned white from the beating, he laid on the ground and fainted. His face is already deformed, it is a horrible sight to behold. Qin Yun looked at Yu Yu and said with sneer, Did you see that? This is the person you meticulously nurtured? They are all weak chickens. Don't be complacent. Yu Yu said coldly, Si Yu is too arrogant. Moreover, he was injured by you before, that's why he lost. San Yu, you go. Yu Yu removed the barrier. San Yu is rather tall. Although he saw Qin Yun's battle just now, he still has a long face, arrogant and condescending. As soon as San Yu came up, he extended 3 fingers at Qin Yun. You want to defeat me in 3 moves? Qin Yun asked. No. I'll count to 3 and you'll lose. San Yu laughed coldly and looked at Qin Yun disdainfully. You have pretty good strength. However, using 3 moves to defeat you is still too much. To deal with you, an instant is enough. Yu Yu smiled proudly and said, San Yu has 3 martial spirits. 3 moves is more than enough to defeat you. Yang Shi sighed lightly and said, Yu, how about we make a bet? If San Yu loses, let Qin Yun leave. Alright. Yu promptly nodded. If San Yu wins, let Qin Yun stay. Moreover, I want to crazily torture him. Alright. Yang Shi is very confident in Qin Yun's strength, because she is more clear about Qin Yun's situation. Yu is also impatient and shouted, Begin! After the start, Qin Yun and San Yu did not move. San Yu's voice is filled with arrogance and contempt. He said with sneer, Listen up, I'll count to 3. After 3 counts, you will lose without a doubt. Everyone held their breath and watched. They want to see if San Yu is really that powerful. That arrogant brat is bound to lose. Lord San Yu can twist his head off. I wonder where that brat came from. He actually dared to be so rude to the queen. Lord San Yu will definitely make him lose miserably. The queen also hates that brat very much. If it wasn't for courtesy, she would have already taken care of that guy. San Yu shouted. 1, 2. Just as he finished shouting 2, Ling Yun released a supergravity that landed on San Yu's body. Qin Yun stepped into the late-stage spirit martial realm and cultivated immortal devil body. His nether sun Dao core has also become stronger. Ling Yun is now using all her firepower. She is not afraid of injuring Qin Yun's body. She crazily released the power inside the nether sun Dao core. Boom! The incomparably arrogant San Yu did not even have the time to shout 3 before he was pressed to the ground and vomited blood. Qin Yun walked over and, as if he was lifting a dead dog, he raised his palm and ruthlessly slapped San Yu's long and smelly face. Pa. In just a few moments, San Yu's face has been deformed. It is bruised, red and swollen, and there are also all kinds of burns. Boring. Qin Yun hit San Yu for a while and saw that he has fainted. He casually threw him to the side, as if he was throwing trash. Yu is already dumbfounded. Yu's group of subordinates are also dumbstruck. Out of the 4 youths, only 2 are at the Xian martial realm. Their arrogant faces also revealed a trace of shock. Yang Shi gently smiled and said, You lost. Yu removed the barrier and a few people quickly walked up and carried San Yu away. What kind of evil technique did you use? Yu asked coldly. Can't afford to lose? Qin Yun said with a smile. You're so powerful, can't you tell? You cunning bastard. Yu really wanted to hit Qin Yun, but she doesn't dare because Yang Shi is here. At this time, a young man walked over and said, Queen, let me go meet him. After Qin Yun heard this, he said with a smile, You, a Xian martial realm guy, actually want to fight with me, a late-stage spirit martial realm? Aren't you ashamed? To think that you were so arrogant just now. I didn't expect you to be a guy who bullies the weak. Are you worthy of your arrogant and ridiculous attitude? I'll pinch you to death. The young man's anger was ignited in an instant. He quickly reached out his hand but was grabbed by Yu. Yu shouted in a low voice, You don't mess around. Yu, none of the guys you nurtured are good. You only have this much ability, ha ha ha. Qin Yun unbridledly ridiculed Yu. He was very angry when he was thrown into the desert. Xiao Qian walked over and said, Qin Yun, with your strength, it shouldn't be a problem to deal with those 2 Xian martial realm trash, right? Sigh, I don't want to fight them. I don't want to say that I'm bullying trash. Qin Yun said with a laugh. Yu is extremely angry. She also can't understand why Xiao Qian and Yang Shi want to help Qin Yun. Qin Yun, right? Aren't you very strong? If you defeat Yu or Yu, the grudge between you and me will be written off. How about it? Yu very much wants to turn the tables. Otherwise, it would be hard to swallow this anger. Grudge? I don't owe you anything. On the other hand, you tricked me into coming in and even got a black eagle to place me in a desert with a maze formation. When Qin Yun mentioned this matter, he became very angry. After he finished speaking, he looked at Yu and Yu and said with a sneer, I really don't know what you guys have to be proud of. You actually made people kneel and kowtow to you. It's just 4 self-righteous clowns. Yu took a few deep breaths and said, Qin Yun, the disciples that Yu have nurtured are all top-notch. So you're saying that the guy I knocked unconscious just now is also top-notch? Qin Yun said with a sneer. I don't believe that you're only at the late-stage spirit martial realm. You're definitely at the Xian martial realm. Yu spoke, then took out a tool and said, If I detect that you're at the Xian martial realm, you're dead. That tool is a very large pearl. Yu's eyes flickered with a cold light and shouted, Put your hand on it. Chapter 745. Might of the immortal demon body. Yu is so angry that her eyes are about to spew fire. She said coldly, Qin Yun, I can crush you to death at any time. With your strength, you're just a worm in front of me. Qin Yun said with a laugh, You have lived for tens of thousands of years, it is normal for you to have this kind of strength. But what's the use? We still can't get the nether moon. Yu really wanted to slap him, but she could only endure. Qin Yun, you go through the test first. If you are really late-stage spirit martial realm, then I will have a good talk with you. Yu said, You should also be a guy who places profit above everything else, right? Don't you just want good stuff? I have a lot of good stuff here. Qin Yun also saw that Sanyue wanted to obtain the Nether Moon Xian core very much. Although he did not know what effect it had, it must have a great use. Yu only wants to vent her anger and let the disciple she nurtured win. And after Qin Yun cultivated immortal devil body, fighting against Xian martial realm is not a big problem. After careful consideration, Qin Yun also placed his hand on the bead. The pearl immediately lit up and flickered continuously. A moment later, Yu said in disbelief, This bastard is really only at the late-stage spirit martial realm. You haven't cultivated the Xian spirit Dao crystal yet. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Now you know how useless those fellows you raised are. Yu is very angry, he wants to immediately fight with Qin Yun. However, as a Xian martial realm cultivator, even if he defeated Qin Yun, it would not be glorious, he would only be venting his anger. Yu looked at Qin Yun and sneered, What do you want? Just say it. As long as you can defeat Yu. I want something that can help me quickly cultivate the Xian Spirit Dao Crystal. Do you have it? Qin Yun did not stand on ceremony. Of course. Dao Crystal Jade and Profound Heart Crystal, I'll give you 50 kilograms each. It is enough for you to cultivate Xian Spirit Dao Crystal. Yu's words caused many people to exclaim in admiration. Dao Crystal Jades and Profound Heart Crystals, even if it was only a caddy, were already very valuable. I want 1,000 genes of each, Qin Yun said with a smile. With his size, 100 kilograms was definitely not enough. Don't even think about it. Yu immediately shouted. Why are you reacting so strongly? Do you think that you will definitely lose? Qin Yun said with a laugh. Qin Yun, 20 to 30 kilograms of Dao Jing Jade and Profound Heart Crystal was enough to cultivate a Profound Spirit Dao Crystal. The amount I will give you is 3 to 4 times that of an ordinary person. Yu said coldly. 3 to 4 times that of an ordinary person was not enough for Qin Yun. Qin Yun said with smile. Since you are so confident that Yu will win, even if you give me 1,000 genes, I might not be able to get it. If I lose, you don't even need to give me 1 tael. Alright, I'll give it to you. Yu narrowed her eyes and said with a sneer, Don't blame us if you get seriously injured during the martial competition. I am afraid that you will go back on your word, Qin Yun said. Yu took out 2 small bags and handed them to Yang Shuriwe. She said, I will leave the things with her. If you win, she will give them to you. You can rest assured now, right? Yang Shuriwe nodded at Qin Yun. Qin Yun is secretly alarmed. He did not expect Yu to be overflowing with wealth. He is now thinking about how to ruthlessly fish up a fortune from her. Qin Yun walked onto the battle stage. He has been thinking about how to go one step further and make Yu take out many good things. Xiao Yun, this nether moon desolate domain is truly a treasure land. There are many good things hidden here. Ling Yun'er said. However, after so many years, many of them must have been obtained by Yu or Xiang. Qin Yun also thinks so. Therefore, he thought of a plan to make Yu take out even more things. Begin. Yu suddenly shouted, waking up the absent-minded Qin Yun. Qin Yun did not expect the martial arts competition to begin so soon. Actually, he was too focused on thinking about things, so he did not pay attention. At the beginning, because Qin Yun was distracted, Yu took the initiative. The moment Qin Yun regained his senses, he sensed Yu rushing over like thunder and ruthlessly punching his abdomen and head. Rumble! 2 tremors exploded out, causing the entire ancient castle to tremble. And Qin Yun was also sent flying by the 2 punches and crashed into the barrier. Yu proudly laughed loudly and punched from far away. Wave after wave of berserk fist energy transformed into black and gold dragon heads and concentrated on Qin Yun's body. Qin Yun was hit until he was stuck on the barrier. His body was attacked by waves of power and he was unable to leave. This guy has black dragon martial spirit. It seems like it's a thunder dragon. Ling Yun'er suddenly said. She is not worried about Qin Yun at all. Qin Yun's immortal devil body originally possessed very strong defense. Even if he suffered a very strong attack, he could still withstand it. It must be known that when Qin Yun cultivated immortal devil body, his body was repeatedly destroyed and restored. Not only did it temper his body, his recovery power is also very astonishing. Qin Yun did not pay attention at the beginning and was beaten into this state again and again. Yu, well done. Quickly use the power of divine ability and thoroughly defeat him. Yu also became happy and shouted. The speed at which Yu used his divine ability is very fast. A black aura appeared on his chest and transformed into a dragon. As fast as lightning, it charged towards Qin Yun with furious dragon might. The dragon's speed is very fast and it seems like Qin Yun has been beaten to the point where he doesn't even have the strength to fight back. Xiao Xianqin and Yang Shiyu are also extremely nervous watching. Although Bao Changshu and Jian Shitian knew that Qin Yun is very strong, that was only when he fought against spirit martial realm cultivators. Now, Qin Yun is fighting against a Xian martial realm martial monarch. Furthermore, he possesses a black martial spirit, immortal blood and immortal body. The disparity is obvious. Qin Yun looked at the dragon rushing over and his body trembled. The bones in his body emitted a series of crisp sounds. He condensed all the power in his body and struck out with Extinction Dragon 5 palms. 5 palms struck out in half an instant and then the palm energy fused together, giving rise to a roar of an angry dragon. The Extinction Dragon palm power that Qin Yun struck out with vibrating thunder and fire power is also black. Thunder and fire and vibration seem to have perfectly fused together. The thunder and fire that burst out vibrated. The power of vibration exploded into thunder and fire. Yu's divine ability power condensed into a dragon. It looks invincible and unstoppable. As for the palm strike that Qin Yun fiercely struck out, it seemed to contain boundless might. Roar Qin Yun's Extinction Dragon 5 palms struck the dragon formed from divine ability power and blasted it into a black mist. Qin Yun's palm strike caused all the half-immortals and martial emperors present to be emotionally moved. Yu's body also slightly trembled when she saw this. The power of Qin Yun's palm strike is not something that a late-stage spirit martial realm can unleash. Even an early-stage Xian martial realm would not be able to unleash such a terrifying power. Yu is at the early-stage Xian martial realm. He has an immortal body and cultivated immortal blood. Furthermore, he has 2 black martial spirit. The divine ability power he unleashed is also very strong. It is enough to kill mid-stage Xian, martial realm martial monarch. However, Qin Yun's palm strike scattered Air Yu's divine ability power. What is most inconceivable is that Qin Yun was ruthlessly beaten at the beginning, but now he looks like nothing happened. Air Yu's face was originally filled with arrogance, but now he feels incomparably terrified. Only he can feel how terrifying Qin Yun is, because he understands his divine ability power very well. Even mid-stage Xian martial realm martial monarchs can only dodge, they are unable to directly resist. And not only did Qin Yun resist, he even destroyed the two divine ability power he condensed. On the battle stage, black gas burst out. The scattered divine ability power is also incomparably violent. As for Qin Yun, he suddenly disappeared. In the blink of an eye, he appeared behind Air Yu. For Air Yu to be able to make Yu attach so much importance to him, he must have some ability. His reaction is very fast. He ferociously turned around and threw a palm strike at Qin Yun. Qin Yun also attacked with lightning speed and blocked Air Yu's palm strike. Ling Yun, who has been preparing for a long time, suddenly released that supergravity. The sudden supergravity enveloped Air Yu's body. Even though Air Yu is at the Xian martial realm, he was caught off guard by the sudden gravity and fell to the ground. That kind of power was like a huge mountain had suddenly appeared on his body, silently falling on his body and fiercely pressing down. Air Yu directly vomited blood from the pressure and screamed while lying on the ground. I admit defeat. Air Yu saw Qin Yun's palm wrapped with vibrating thunder and fire power and promptly shouted. Qin Yun did not even use his Extinction Dragon 5 palms, and he has already obtained victory. The ones who are most shocked are none other than Bao Changshu, Jian Shitian, and the other half-immortals. Originally, they felt that Qin Yun stepping into the late-stage spirit martial realm was very fast. And now, he can crush a powerful opponent like Air Yu. This kind of progress is inconceivably fast. Bao Changshu thought about it and realized that Qin Yun was together with the immortal Bing Xing during that period of time. He also realized that the reason why Qin Yun improved so fast is because Bing Xing supported him from behind. Yu removed the barrier. She is no longer as angry as before because Qin Yun's strength has already shocked her. Yang Shiyue walked over and handed over a storage bag to Qin Yun. She also transmitted her voice to him. Xiao Yun, the Star Lord inscription spirit, is also in the storage bag. Keep it well. Thank you, big sister Yang. Qin Yun said with a smile. You have made Yu very angry. This is also good. Yang Shiyue is only transmitting her voice to Qin Yun and did not let Yu know. Qin Yun looked at Yu and said with a smile, You still have Yu. Do you want to fight with me? Yu said in a deep voice, He can't beat you. Qin Yun shook his head and sighed. Then you also admit that they are trash, right? No. Because they only lost to you. Apart from you, only a few people on the same level can defeat them. Yu no longer dares to speak with certainty. Qin Yun said with a smile. Then I will thank Queen for the gift. He did not think of a good way to continue swindling Yu's things. He can only walk down the battle stage with a trace of regret. Don't go down, I want to fight you. Yu said coldly. You? You are a powerful immortal. Qin Yun shook his head and said with a smile. I sealed my cultivation and limited it to late-stage spirit martial realm. Yu shouted coldly. I must defeat you. Chapter 746. Powerful Surprise Attack. Yu is very serious, but Qin Yun did not take it seriously. This caused Yu to tremble in anger. When she is suppressing her killing intent, she is also the most terrifying. You bastard, stop your wishful thinking. Yu said angrily. I was just speaking thoughtlessly. With how you are, wearing a mask all day, you must be so ugly that you can't show your face. I can't be bothered with you. Qin Yun spoke and walked down the battle stage. Don't go, fight with me. I will definitely defeat you. Yu gnashed her teeth in anger. She only has one thought in her mind, and that is to ruthlessly beat up Qin Yun. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, I'm very tired. I want to take a bath and sleep. Then, I'll leave this damned place and go back to find my wife. He knew that Yu wouldn't dare to attack. Yang Shiyu walked over and pulled Yu. Apparently, she is also secretly transmitting her voice to Yu. Yu let out a long sigh and said, Qin Yun, if you don't defeat me, you can forget about leaving the Nether Moon desolate domain forever. Qin Yun said with a smile, Don't try to scare me. As long as I find the exit, I can leave. Do you think the lid of the silver coffin will always be open? Only I can open that lid. Yu laughed loudly. Only by defeating me can you leave this place. Qin Yun looked at Bao Changshu and others and said, I'll leave with my elders, can't I? Yu became even more proud and said with a sneer, If you don't fight with me, I guarantee that you and them will never be able to leave this place. Jian Shitian and others are secretly anxious. They don't want to stay in the Nether Moon desolate domain forever. When Yu saw Qin Yun's expression change, she felt even more proud in her heart. You're threatening me. Qin Yun is somewhat angry. So what? You can only fight with me now. Yu smiled proudly and said, You're still too young. Qin Yun thought for a moment and said, If I defeat you, will there be any benefits? Yu immediately said, I won't give you anything else. If you defeat me, the only reward is to leave the Nether Moon desolate domain. Qin Yun doesn't want to fight with Yu because Yu definitely has a very strong immortal body. She has only suppressed her energy to the spirit martial realm. Her mental power and physical body have not weakened at all. Even a martial king would not be able to defeat Yu that easily. Your body is very strong, your mental power is also very strong. Moreover, you have mastered many cultivation techniques. I can't beat you at all. Qin Yun said, This kind of martial arts competition is completely meaningless. Fine, I'll go up and beat him up for you. When the time comes, you can just ask the headmaster and the others to leave. Qin Yun walked onto the stage and said helplessly, Come and hit me. Since I can't beat you, I won't resist. Yu thought about it and also felt that even if she sealed her power, it would still be very unfair. How about this? I'll only use 10 moves, and I won't use my mental strength. If you can't lose within 10 moves, it will be your win. Yu said. Qin Yun considered for a moment and said, All right. Yu's eyes flashed with joy. Yang Shiyu and Xiao Xianqin also walked down from the stage. They only hoped that Qin Yun would not suffer too many injuries in this match. 10 moves, right? I'll definitely be able to hold on. Qin Yun chuckled. You're too complacent. After Yu finished speaking, she closed her eyes and began sealing her power. She wants to seal her cultivation at the late-stage spirit martial realm. Even if it is sealed, she can rely on her formidable immortal body power to defeat Qin Yun within 10 moves. Bao Changshu suddenly became worried because even he would not be able to withstand 10 moves from Yu. The disparity in power is simply too great. Jian Shitian said in low voice. Old Bao, Qin Yun's strength has increased by a lot. He has become even stronger. He should have received pointers from an immortal. Can he endure it? Bao Changshu shook his head and said, I don't know, he should be able to. Very quickly, Yu finished sealing her power. At this moment, Qin Yun also secretly regretted. Because after Yu sealed her cultivation, she only needs to use her physical body's power. I'll let you announce the start, Yu said after she finished setting up the barrier. Qin Yun thought for a moment and shouted, Begin! After he shouted start, he felt a pain in his chest. Yu has already attacked. He promptly used mysterious penetration divine ability and circulated it throughout his body. In this way, Yu passed through Qin Yun's body. One move. Qin Yun is alarmed in his heart. Yu Yu's palm attack just now was truly terrifying. After all, she is an immortal. I'm in trouble. This woman's physical body power can even injure a half-immortal without a problem. I was careless. Qin Yun still underestimated Yu Yu's strength. That seems to be a kind of divine ability? It's pretty awesome. Let's see how many times you can use it. After Yu Yu finished speaking, she rushed over again and sent a palm attack at Qin Yun. Qin Yun promptly used Mysterious Penetration divine ability with all his might. Although Yu Yu's palm attack entered Qin Yun's body, it is as if it hit an illusion. Qin Yun promptly retreated and stopped using divine ability power. He used Mysterious Penetration divine ability power and was attacked by a formidable power. The consumption is enormous. He also doesn't know how many times he can withstand it. Yu Yu's eyes are filled with ridicule, she said with sneer. Qin Yun, as long as you let me hit you once, you'll suffer. Qin Yun also knows that Yu Yu won't kill him. However, she will definitely injure him. In this way, every time Yu Yu attacked, Qin Yun would use Mysterious Penetration divine ability. Now, Yu Yu has attacked for the 7th time. After Qin Yun finished using Mysterious Penetration divine ability, he felt that all the power in his body has been sucked out. He can only rely on the power of a mortal devil body to stand. His Pill Dao's power has been completely consumed. You're finished. Yu Yu smiled proudly, quickly rushed over and slapped Qin Yun's face. A crisp slap sound echoed out. Qin Yun was sent flying. His handsome face is red and swollen, causing Yang Shiyue's heart to ache. However, there is no other way because she knows how much Yu Yu hates Qin Yun. Qin Yun's mouth is bleeding from the slap, his head is in a daze. You dare to be arrogant in this old lady's territory, you deserve a lesson. Yu Yu walked over, lifted Qin Yun and slapped his face again. After Qin Yun was sent flying, he landed on the ground and slowly stood up. Pay! Qin Yun spat out a mouthful of blood and said with a smile, You still have one more move. Fall down. Yu Yu gritted her teeth and rushed over. She slammed her palm on Qin Yun's chest, wanting to shatter his heart. Boom! After Qin Yun was hit, his body shook and emitted a black gas. His skin cracked and blood oozed out. It is very scary. After he was sent flying, he landed on the ground. Yu Yu's subordinates also cheered loudly. Overconfident guy. Yu Yu seems to feel a lot better. However, just as she is feeling proud, Qin Yun slowly crawled up. I didn't lose. Qin Yun laughed loudly. Yu Yu clenched her fists tightly. She really wanted to punch Qin Yun, but she endured. I'm very happy to be able to beat you up. Yu Yu snorted and removed the barrier. At this moment, the injured Qin Yun also fell down. Qin Yun was just too tired, so he fell asleep. When he woke up, he discovered that he is in a pool filled with white immortal liquid. Yang Shiyue is beside the pool, but she is still wearing a mask. Xiao Yun, Yu Yu is like this, don't blame her. Yang Shiyue sighed lightly. She's such an unreasonable woman. She clearly hates my previous life, but she attacked the current me. Thinking of this matter, Qin Yun felt very unhappy. For my sake, don't bother with her in the future. Yang Shiyue said, she just can't take it lying down. Fortunately, she still listens to me, otherwise she would have definitely killed you. At this moment, the silver-haired Yu Yu also walked into the secret room. As soon as she entered, she took off her mask. When Qin Yun saw Yu Yu's face, he was immediately stunned. Yu Yu is very beautiful, but her face is rather pale and covered in frost. She looks like a ruthless and arrogant fairy. Qin Yun is very familiar with that face. It is exactly the same as Yang Shiyue's. She's my little sister. Yang Shiyue said with a chuckle. You're my little sister. Yu Yu promptly said, I was born a bit earlier than you. I was born a bit earlier, you're the little sister. Yang Shiyue lightly shouted. Qin Yun now understands that Yang Shiyue's previous life and you were twin sisters. Qin Yun, for the sake of my little sister, I let you heal your injuries here. Once your injuries are healed, scram immediately. After you finished speaking, she put on her mask. Boom boom boom. Suddenly, a violent tremor appeared. Accompanied by a terrifying tremor, cracks immediately appeared in the secret room. Could it be that bastard Xiang? He clearly won. Why did he come to cause trouble for me? Yu immediately became furious and said, I must kill him. Yu angrily walked out of the secret room. Yang Shiyue also followed suit. Qin Yun is also secretly worried. He believes that Xie Ying discovered that Nether Moon is missing, so he angrily attacked this place. Xiao Yun, you're still injured. Wait until your injuries are healed. Ling Yuner said. The entire room is constantly trembling, the cracks are getting bigger and bigger, as if it will collapse at any moment. After Qin Yun saw this, he can no longer sit still. He promptly dragged his injured body out of the secret room. Boom! Just as he walked out of the secret room, a terrifying power rushed down and hit his body. What a strong power! Moreover, it carries a very terrifying devil fiend. Ling Yuner said in fear. This is definitely not Xie Ying's power. The place where Qin Yun was has also turned into ruins. He is being crushed by many things. Rumble. After Qin Yun was injured, he is also in a daze. Ling Yuner shouted. The mountain where the ancient castle is located has collapsed. Xiao Yun, pull yourself together. The person who attacked the ancient castle is not Xie Ying. However, in this Nether Moon desolate domain, only Xie Ying has that kind of power. After Qin Yun fainted for a while, he also woke up in a daze and crawled out of the ruins with great difficulty. Chapter 747. Shadow Slave. When Qin Yun saw this, he felt extremely terrified. Because the Nether Moon desolate domain seems to be on the verge of collapse. Just as he crawled out, he saw Yu, who is covered in injuries, flying over. You're actually still alive. After Yu saw Qin Yun, she hastily grabbed him and flew towards a certain direction. What happened? Qin Yun hastily asked. Where are Sister Yang and the others? Are they all right? They all went out. Rest assured, I will also bring you out. Yu's voice is grave. I also don't know what's going on. In short, the Nether Moon desolate domain has been attacked by a very strong power. Even that guy, Xie Ying, was annihilated. The power that attacked the Nether Moon desolate domain specifically chose powerful people to attack. At this moment, Qin Yun also discovered that while Yu is flying, she is constantly dodging the falling meteorite. Those meteorites seem to be able to sense her aura and always land on her body. Xiang is dead? Qin Yun is extremely shocked in his heart. That is a very strong guy. I promised Yu Ji that I would bring you out. Otherwise, she and Yu Qin would not have left. Yu coldly snorted. In this life you are even more hateful than your previous life. I don't know what kind of bewitching soup you fed them, but they actually don't hate you. Yu, where are you going now? Qin Yun asked. A secret exit, I will bring you out from there. Yu said. That secret exit, was it something I told you about in my previous life? Qin Yun asked again. Yu was silent for a moment and said, Yes. It was indeed you who told me. In your previous life, you came in here once and told me that once the time was up, that exit could be used. Qin Yun saw that the situation is very urgent and made a long story short. He said, Yu, I still haven't awakened the memories of my previous life. But I know that my previous life definitely did not have any malice towards you. I imprisoned you here so that you could obtain the Nether Moon and cultivate the Nether Moon sacred body. But you failed to live up to expectations. Don't talk nonsense. Back then, you swindled away the treasures of those big sects and then framed me, causing me to be besieged by them. Yu said angrily. I don't believe your nonsense now. Qin Yun did not wish to explain further. He only hoped that the truth would be revealed in the future. Yu Yu's speed is very fast. She brought Qin Yun and flew to the side of a lake in an instant. The water of this lake was pale white, and at this moment it was emitting white light, and the meteorites in the sky stopped falling. The entire nether moon desolate domain suddenly quietened down. Qin Yun looked around the lake and discovered many rocks. The stones formed a formation, and at this moment Yu Yu is activating that formation. After the formation is activated, I will take you away and enter the spirit desolate. At that time, I will also be sucked into the immortal desolate. Yu Yu said, Bastard, when you awaken your memories, remember to come and fight me to the death. Qin Yun ignored Yu Yu and released the Heavenly King Pig. Brother Pig. Qin Yun patted the sleeping Heavenly King Pig and said, Quickly explain to this woman. When Yu Yu saw the pig Heavenly King, she said with a frown, This is the imperial beast Heavenly King who escaped from Xiang? When the Heavenly King Pig heard Yu Yu's voice, he abruptly woke up with a start and said in fear, Immortal King Yu Yu, every grievance has its perpetrator, every debt has its debtor. If you have enmity, don't look for me. Damned pig, what are you talking about? Qin Yun is somewhat angry. He patted the Heavenly King Pig's head and said, Quickly tell Yu Yu the reason why my previous life let her in. The Heavenly King Pig also realized the current situation and quickly said, Immortal King Yu Yu, my little brother Yun deliberately caused you to enter here so that you could obtain the Nether Moon and cultivate the Nether Moon's sacred body. Because he knew that you wouldn't cooperate, he used a rather extreme method. I don't believe it, Yu Yu said angrily. At this moment, the formation was also activated. The water in the lake also seemed to be boiling and began to revolve in the middle. The Heavenly King Pig said with a smile, Great, I can leave the Nether Moon desolate domain soon. After he finished speaking, he jumped into the lake. Qin Yun looked at Yu Yu, whose face is filled with anger, and said, It's up to you whether you believe it or not. In any case, this life of mine has nothing to do with my previous life. Humph, I never want to see your face again. Yu Yu spoke and was about to jump into the lake. At this moment, a black shadow suddenly appeared. That black shadow possesses a very strong power and grabbed Yu Yu. What is this? Qin Yun looked at the black shadow and felt incomparably shocked. The black shadow's entire body is pitch black and possesses a very strong devil fiend power. I am the shadow slave of the devil immortal great emperor. The black shadow laughed sinisterly and said, I was ordered to come here to kill the people cursed by the devil immortal great emperor. Haha. Qin Yun suddenly thought of Yao Fong. In order to help him escape from the cage, Yao Fong used her power and was also sensed by the devil immortal great emperor. In other words, the power that caused the collapse of the Nether Moon desolate domain was released by the devil immortal great emperor. Devil immortal great emperor? I have never been cursed by him. Yu Yu is also extremely fearful. You are the strongest person here, you are the only target. If it is not you, then who is it? The shadow slave spoke and punched Yu Yu. Yu Yu was hit by the punch and screamed miserably. Yu Yu's strength is very strong, but now, she was injured by some shadow slave in an instant. Bastard, your target is me. As Qin Yun spoke, he took out the 9 Sun Divine Hammer and charged over to madly attack the shadow slave. 9 Sun Divine Hammer? This is one of the Sun Souls and it is actually in your hands. Shadow slave is extremely shocked and then let go of the seriously injured Yu Yu. Yu Yu, who is standing beside the lake, also fell into the lake. She knows that Qin Yun saved her just now. When Qin Yun saw Yu Yu fall into the lake, he immediately jumped into the lake as fast as he can. However, his surroundings were suddenly sealed by a very strong power. Sun Soul. Sun Soul. I found a Sun Soul for my master, ha 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 ha. When Shadow Slave saw that Qin Yun is unable to move, he immediately became extremely excited. Boom! Shadow Slave fiercely punched the lake. The lake also disappeared. Qin Yun cursed in his heart. That is the passage to leave the nether moon desolate domain. Brat, where did you get your sun soul? Shadow Slave asked coldly. Qin Yun did not answer. Instead, he hastily contacted Yao Fong. Yao Fong previously consumed a lot of energy and is healing inside the third pearl of the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. When she heard Qin Yun's cry for help, she felt very shocked. Qin Yun, is there anything important in your second pearl? Yao Fong asked. No. Qin Yun promptly replied. Alright, I will control your second pearl and seal that guy inside. There is a risk in doing this. It might cause damage to the second pearl of the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. Yao Fong said. I can't care about that much, seal him inside first. Qin Yun shouted anxiously. Shadow Slave already walked to Qin Yun's side and reached out to grab Qin Yun's Nine Sun Divine Hammer. At this moment, Qin Yun's second pearl of the Nine Sun Divine Spirit produced a very strong devouring power. After Shadow Slave sensed that power, he became extremely terrified. What is that thing? Shadow Slave shouted loudly and turned into a mass of black gas and was sucked into the second pearl of the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. Qin Yun's entire body is sweating profusely, he sat paralyzed on the ground. And the Nine Sun Divine Spirit on his wrist is also trembling crazily, causing his wrist to bleed. I am suppressing him, Yao Fong said. Thank you so much, Sister Yao Fong. Qin Yun is very grateful to Yao Fong. If not for you, I would be dead. I am also doing this to save myself. Yao Fong groaned. This devil immortal great emperor actually sent Shadow Slave over. It seems like he wants to kill me. Why is the devil immortal great emperor in such a hurry to kill you? Qin Yun also feels that it is strange. Because I was cursed by him. I have a mysterious connection with him. I can pry into a part of his memories. Back then he cursed me and thought that he could control me. He did not expect that I would escape and hide inside the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. Yao Fong suddenly smiled proudly and said, Now, if he wants to cut off the connection between us, he can only remove the curse. Qin Yun felt a lot more at ease. Then he lied down on the ground and gasped for breath. This time it's over. I will be trapped in the nether moon desolate domain until I die. I don't know if the devil immortal great emperor will come or not. Shadow Slave should be his most capable subordinate and his strength is also very strong. He doesn't have any other good subordinates, so he won't send anyone in a short period of time. This is really great. Shadow Slave's power is very strong. I can absorb it bit by bit, ha ha ha. Yao Fong is as happy as if she is celebrating a festival. However, Qin Yun is extremely depressed. He is injured and he has to stay here alone. He doesn't know how to get out. In any case, you're still alive. Ling Yuner said with a smile. Didn't you obtain something from Yu? It's enough for you to condense Xian's Spirit Tao crystal. In the remote Moon Mountain range, there is an underground palace. There is a pool in this underground palace. Jian Shitian, Bao Changshu and others are patiently waiting beside the pool. Yang Shiyue is the most anxious. Suddenly the pool moved. Gradually, she helped a person up. Yu, where's Qin Yun? Yang Shiyue quickly pulled Yu out of the pool. When she saw that Yu is severely injured, she is immediately stunned. Who injured you so severely? It's Shadow Slave. The space around Yu's body gradually distorted. She said with a voice filled with guilt. I'm sorry. I couldn't save Qin Yun. He's still inside. Yang Shiyue is stunned as she watched Yu gradually disappear. She was sucked into the immortal desolate. Xiao Xian Qin quickly walked over and said in a low voice, Qin Yun has so many tricks, he will be fine. Yang Shiyue's face turned pale, her face is filled with sorrow. She tightly clenched her fists. She doesn't know who to blame, she only feels incomparably guilty. Miss Yang, let's go back first. My Immortal Weapon City's Grand Elder is definitely very concerned about this matter. She might be able to give us some advice. Bao Changsho said. Yang Shuriwei also calmed down and nodded. Then, she hurriedly led everyone out of the underground palace. With the protection of Jian Shitian, Bao Changsho and Old Mother Yunyao, as long as they are not immortals, they won't be able to harm Yang Shuriwei. Chapter 748. Subduing the Star Monarchs. After Shadow Slave was captured, the Nether Moon desolate domain also calmed down. Qin Yun hid in a cave and gradually recovered from his injuries. After he walked out of the cave, it is noon. At this moment, the sunlight is very intense. There was originally a lot of fog inside the Nether Moon desolate domain, but now the fog has disappeared. Because the fake moon has also been destroyed. As soon as Shadow Slave came in, he sensed that the evil shadow on the fake moon is very strong. Then he killed both the evil shadow and the fake moon. The Nether Moon desolate domain has finally returned to normal. Qin Yun looked at the scorching sun in the sky and absorbed the 9 suns' spiritual energy in enjoyment. Xiao Yun, this Nether Moon desolate domain has existed for many years. There should be many people inside. Ling Yuner said. The interior of the Nether Moon desolate domain is indeed very large. Furthermore, the spiritual energy is abundant and resources are also very plentiful. The Dao Crystal Jade and Xian Heart Crystal that Qin Yun obtained from you were found in the Nether Moon desolate domain. This Nether Moon desolate domain is also very dangerous. After all, the Nether Moon has existed for many years and released a large amount of evil energy. It will definitely turn many living beings into evil devils. Ling Yuner said. Is it very easy to become an evil devil if one is unable to suppress the evil power? Qin Yun asked. Yes. There is also a kind of situation where one can suppress the evil power but choose to become an evil devil themselves. That is because they can become stronger faster and control it well. They can also obtain very strong evil devil power. Ling Yuner said, this kind of people are the most terrifying evil devils. Because they have reason and strong self-control, they can control the evil devil power. Qin Yun recalled the opponents he encountered. Many of them were evil devils. They all suddenly went crazy and then got possessed by evil devils and lost their reason. At the same time, they also became very strong. He himself had such an experience and was almost devoured by the Nether Sun. That kind of power is indeed very terrifying. If one can control it, it will be very powerful. Ling Yuner said. The strength of the immortal devil body is that it can use that kind of powerful evil devil power. As for how to use it, you will have to properly consult Sister Kiru in the future. There are very few people with immortal devil body. The immortal desolate is so big, there are only a few and they have all been killed. Qin Yun thought of Siekiru and promptly took out the immortal graveyard diagram. After he dripped his blood on it, there was a quick reaction. Xiao Yun, is something the matter? Siekiru asked. Big news. Qin Yun promptly told Siekiru about what happened in the Nether Moon desolate domain. He also told her that he obtained the Nether Moon. Of course, he also said some things about Yao Fong. Siekiru received so much information, she needs time to digest it. After being silent for a while, she said, Xiao Yun, enter Xian martial realm first. Ignore Ming Yu for now. With your current strength, you are unable to use the power of the Nether Moon and Nether Sun at the same time. Elder Sister Imperial Preceptor, that Nether Moon seems to be very important to Sister Yang. Qin Yun said again. It is quite important, but she definitely has other ways to solve this problem. The number of Nether Moons is quite large, and she has the Nether Moon martial spirit, so she can quickly find the target. Siekiru said. Then, what about Yao Fong? Do you know who she is? Qin Yun asked. She seems to have a good relationship with Mother. I can roughly guess who she is, but I didn't expect it to be her. Siekiru let out a long sigh. I really did not expect that your past life would actually be related to her. Then who is she? Quickly tell me. Qin Yun is extremely happy and promptly asked. I won't tell you first, Xie Qiru said with smile. In short, you are getting along well with her now. Don't be like this. I really want to know who she is. Qin Yun curled his lips and said. I won't say. Xie Qiru playfully smiled and said. Qin Yun has no other choice, he unhappily snorted. Sister Qiru, then should I continue to stay in the Nether Moon Desolate Domain? Qin Yun very much wants to go out. Continue to stay inside. Wait until you cultivate to Xian Martial Realm, then you will have the strength to carve some very complicated Xian runes. Maybe you will have a way to open a passage to come out? Xie Qiru said. Don't be too anxious. Qin Yun can only do this for the time being, because he has no other way. After he ended his contact with Xie Qiru, he aimlessly strolled around. He wants to find a good place to enter seclusion. Yao Fong is still resting inside the third pearl. Apparently she can directly absorb the power of the shadow slave inside the second pearl. Qin Yun searched for a few days and found a very good place. It is a small valley with a small stream and a small waterfall. If the environment is good, it will be more comfortable to cultivate. Qin Yun chose a stone mountain at the side, then used mysterious penetration divine ability to penetrate it and opened up a stone room inside. This way, the stone room has no entrance. He can go in and out using mysterious penetration divine ability. He is not afraid of being discovered by other things, it is very safe. Qin Yun took out some Dao crystal jades and Xian heart crystals. I wonder if these are enough for me to condense Xian spirit Dao crystal. Qin Yun looked at the 2 storage bags and then took out a pearl. That pearl is the soul sealing pearl, inside it is the Star Lord inscription spirit. This is the gift Sister Yang gave me. Qin Yun faintly smiled. Then with Ling Yun'er's help, he smoothly fused with the Star Lord inscription spirit. Very good, it will be even easier for me to carve star runes in the future. Qin Yun is extremely happy. After he became the only successor of the inscription gate, he obtained many ancient taboo runes. Most of them are star and moon runes and many of them are profound and complicated. Now that he has fused with the Star Lord inscription spirit, he only needs to have enough energy to carve those complicated star runes. Qin Yun cultivated star crystal and then transformed his mind into moon. With this kind of foundation, he can carve star and moon runes much faster than others. Xiao Yun, if you successfully condense Xian's spirit Dao crystal, you will be able to step into the Xian martial realm much faster. Ling Yun'er said with a smile. When you go out, you might be at the Xian martial realm. Qin Yun doesn't know how long it will take to reach that cultivation. If it was someone else, they would definitely be faster with a large amount of resources. But he is different, the situation of cultivation is very complicated. Qin Yun began to absorb the power inside the Xian heart crystal and Dao crystal jade, and discovered that it is very difficult to absorb. Yun'er, are you really using the power of the Nether Sun martial spirit to absorb the power of the Xian heart crystal and Dao crystal jade? Qin Yun asked. Yes. Your absorption speed is very fast and you are even absorbing the 9 types of energy inside. If it were anyone else, it would be even slower. Ling Yun'er said. Generally, elders help release the energy inside the Xian heart crystal and Dao crystal jade and then guide the younger generation to absorb it. That way it will be faster. Now, only Yao Fong can help. However, even after Qin Yun shouted for a long time, Yao Fong did not make a sound. Sister Yao Fong should be devouring Shadow Slave's power. Ling Yun'er curled her lips and said, she can eat her fill now. Qin Yun also recalled Yao Fong's excited appearance. Shadow Slave is so strong, it is enough for her to devour for a very long time. Qin Yun sighed. I can only do it myself. Although the absorption speed is very slow, Qin Yun is still very excited. especially when he sensed the 9 types of strange energy pouring into the Nether Sun Dao core. His body felt very comfortable. Having the 9 Sun Divine Spirit is really good. According to this situation, those resources will only be enough for you to cultivate Xian Spirit Dao Crystal, Ling Yuner said with a smile. Qin Yun's absorption speed is very slow, but this also has an advantage. It allows him to proceed smoothly and not travel so easily. In the blink of an eye, 2 years passed. As usual, Qin Yun cultivated for a few days and then went out for a walk, basked in the sun, or took a bath in the pool under the waterfall. His appearance has not changed at all, he looks very young. If he did not deliberately tan his skin, he would definitely look even younger. Sigh, I really want to go out. There are still many people waiting for me outside. Qin Yun attached himself to the water and looked at the sun in the sky. He did not expect that 2 years would pass in a flash, and he would almost condense Xian Spirit Dao Crystal. 2 years ago, he planned to return from the remote Moon Mountain Range to find Xiao Yume and join hands to refine a martial spirit or inscription spirit. This is something that makes him very excited just thinking about it. Even now, he is still the same. Furthermore, he very much needs the Nether Moon martial spirit. Yume should have duplicated Sister Yang's Nether Moon martial spirit. If everything goes smoothly, I can join hands with Yume and refine the Nether Moon martial spirit. This way, my Nether Moon will have a martial spirit and I will be able to control it more easily. Qin Yun cannot help but smile when he thought about this matter. However, Yao Feng still did not say anything. If Yao Feng was by his side, he would feel much more at ease. Although he can't go out, he can contact Xieqiru. Xieqiru also told Xiao Yume and Qi Meiyan about his situation, so they know that Qin Yun's situation inside is very good. Yang, that little thing, why is she still sleeping? Qin Yun said. Fortunately, she didn't wake up. If she woke up and clamored to eat dragon meat, where would you go to find her? Ling Yuner giggled and said, You should hurry up and break through. After you go out, go to the Long family to catch a dragon. Qin Yun still remembers this matter. Long Xiaofeng was planted in the Long family by him, and she is very loyal to him. If everything goes smoothly, he will definitely be able to fish a lot from the Long family through Long Xiaofeng in the future. During this period of time, he also put the Crystal Mountain into the Devil Star Overlord's body. The Devil Star Overlord is currently absorbing, and its progress is also very slow. He also did not forget his promise to Bing Xing. Although he can't cultivate together with Bing Xing, he still condensed many 9 revolution immortal power pills. Once he goes out and sees Bing Xing, he can give it to her. Let's start cultivating. Qin Yun walked to the shore. Just as he put on his clothes, he sensed something falling from the sky onto an empty space in the valley. With a boom, the valley trembled. The waterfall and stream were destroyed. It is a huge beast. It is pitch black and has a pair of wings. It looks like a lizard. Its body is dozens of meters long and it is covered in wounds. What's going on? Is it for me? Qin Yun chuckled and prepared to eat a big meal. Chapter 749. An ancient tribe. Qin Yun is also very puzzled. Just as he finished bathing, a lizard dragon suddenly fell down. He originally thought that he could have a full meal, but he didn't expect that he would actually get into trouble. Don't even think about touching our prey. It took us a month to catch it. A middle-aged man shouted at Qin Yun with stern voice. Hurry up and get away from our prey. Qin Yun looked at this group of people and felt somewhat astonished. Because this group of people don't seem to be martial Dao cultivators, but they have a very strong power on their bodies. From the power fluctuations, it can be seen that they are comparable to Xian martial realm. I thought it fell down by itself. Since it has an owner, I won't seize it. Qin Yun said with a smile, and then distanced himself from the lizard dragon. Even if you want to seize it, you don't have the strength. A barbarian like you is naturally thin and weak. Any one of us can defeat you. A young man's face is filled with disdain and said with sneer. Qin Yun slightly frowned. He was actually called a barbarian. You chased it for a month to destroy this thing? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Your strength is too weak. What do you know? I am only a primary and middle stage Xian warrior, and this lizard dragon's strength is comparable to a high stage Xian warrior. A young man said with sneer, Stand to the side and don't speak. Just watch. Don't worry, we will leave some dregs for you. We are not stingy people. We will leave you a bucket of blood and 100 jin of meat. Barbarian, you must be scared by our strength now. Qin Yun didn't want to say anything more. He felt that these people are rather simple and honest. They are indeed not stingy, they actually want to give him some meat. Xiao Yun, these people should be the natives of this place. Ling Yun'er said, See if you can sneak into their group. Maybe you can learn some things from them that will help you leave this place. The group of natives are bare-chested and only wrapped in beast skins. They carry bows and long sabers on their backs and a short saber on their waist. They are now using long sabers to cut the huge lizard dragon. There were dozens of aborigines, but they didn't have any storage magic treasures on them, so they temporarily made some large pieces of wood and put the beast meat on them to drag back. Qin Yun saw that they were cutting very slowly and said, Friends, you are cutting a little slowly. Do you want me to help you? There's no need. Just wait there. We'll keep our word. We'll definitely give you the meat. A middle-aged native said as he handed over a cup of blood and said, If you're hungry, drink this first. Qin Yun said with smile, I don't like drinking these things. A young aborigine walked over and looked at Qin Yun curiously. He asked, Barbarian, you look very timid. Are you so frightened by us that you don't dare to escape? No, I just want to try lizard dragon meat. Qin Yun laughed. Why do you call me barbarian? I didn't do anything to you. You are an outsider. You foreign barbarians have brought great destruction to our world. The young aborigine said very angrily, Our world is already very chaotic. The moment you appeared, you made our world even more chaotic. Qin Yun took out a saber, causing those people to immediately become vigilant. More than 10 middle-aged natives in charge of guarding immediately drew their bows and aimed at Qin Yun. Friends, I'm not a barbarian. I just arrived here not long ago. Qin Yun waved his hand and said, I just feel that your cutting speed is too slow, so I lent you a saber. He placed the saber on the ground. A middle-aged native's eyes lit up when he saw it and said, This saber is very sharp. He promptly picked up the saber and went over to cut the lizard dragon's meat. It was as easy as cutting tofu, causing the group of natives to let out cries of alarm. The middle-aged native is also very excited. He quickly cut the lizard dragon's meat. At the same time, he thanked Qin Yun and promised to give Qin Yun 1,000 jins of meat. Qin Yun can already see that the sabers of this group of natives are trash. They look rather sharp, but they don't have any runes. Furthermore, they are not good at refining materials. This group of natives only have very strong physical strength. They can't use attribute power, so they can't release flames to refine tools. Even if they have very good materials, it will take a very long time to smelt them. Ling Yun'er said, Indeed, I'll give that saber to the leader of this group. This way, I might be able to follow them back. That saber is only a Xian tool. It was picked up by Qin Yun after he killed the native. Very quickly, the group of natives finished cutting, and they need to drag it back. The leader also returned the saber to Qin Yun with both hands. Although he likes it very much, he did not take it for himself. He is only very envious. At this moment, those natives no longer look down on Qin Yun like before. When they look at Qin Yun, their eyes are filled with a trace of respect. After all, Qin Yun dared to give them such a precious saber. This is very generous. Otherwise, it would take them a very long time to cut it. Qin Yun also saw that many of the sabers on the ground were damaged from cutting the lizard dragon. If they continued, they would need even more sabers. Big brother, in order to thank you for giving me meat, I'll give you this saber, Qin Yun said with a smile. This caused the group of natives to be dumbfounded. This is too precious. I only gave you 1,000 jeans of meat. The middle-aged leader doesn't dare to believe it. All right, don't you want these bones? They are of great use to me. Just treat it as an exchange, Qin Yun said with a smile. He walked over and took away the skeleton. To him, this is a material for refining tools. Seeing Qin Yun take away such a large skeleton in an instant, the group of natives are all tongue-tied. Just accept this saber, Qin Yun said with a chuckle. Then I'll have to thank this friend. The middle-aged leader also revealed a smile. Big brother, I don't have a place to stay here. Can I go to your place as a guest? Qin Yun asked. You're very welcome. Our patriarch will welcome you very much, the middle-aged leader promptly said. This group of natives don't have any schemes. Seeing Qin Yun give them a gift, they treated Qin Yun as one of their own. Qin Yun secretly sighed. If this group of natives met someone else, they might have been exterminated. For example, Xie Ying's group. Qin Yun followed the natives back and helped them put the beast meat into a large storage bag. On the way, Qin Yun learned from the leader that their tribe has existed for many years. They don't know how they appeared, they only know that they are responsible for guarding an item. That item is very important, it is being protected on behalf of others. Qin Yun is very curious about that item. Because looking at the time, that item was stored here before you. And that battle race tribe was born with very strong power. The leader of this team is called Zhan Yong. Zhan Yong is a mid-stage Xian warrior, which means he has the strength of mid-stage Xian martial realm. If Qin Yun didn't use weapons, it would not be easy for him to defeat Zhan Yong because Zhan Yong has a very strong body. These guys were born with very strong bodies. I wonder what's going on. Ling Yuner said, Go ask their tribe elders, we should be able to find out some things. Qin Yun followed Zhan Yong and madly ran for several days. They passed through group after group of huge mountains and finally arrived at the Battle Race tribe beside a large river. The Battle Race tribe is surrounded by a huge wall. The wall is also made of many huge stones. It looks very stable, but Qin Yun feels that it is very easy to flatten. When they are about to enter the tribe, Qin Yun took out the beast meat. This way, Zhan Yong and the others can drag a lot of beast meat into the tribe and gain a lot of face. Sure enough, when they entered the tribe, many men, women, old and young battle race people are watching from the middle of the main road and burst into cheers. There are only a few thousand people in the battle race tribe. Over the years, their numbers have been decreasing and many have been killed. Some were killed by other tribes, some were killed by Xie Ying's group. Qin Yun also asked about Yu Yu and learned that she is a famous queen, but she has never attacked those native. The people of the battle race tribe also saw the barbarian Qin Yun and felt puzzled. Zhan Yong promptly explained that Qin Yun gave him a saber and they became friends. That's why he invited him to be a guest. The people of the battle race tribe also like sabers very much. Therefore, they are extremely envious of Zhan Yong's saber. The buildings in the tribe are all made of stone bricks. They are not very beautiful, but they are very neat and sturdy. Qin Yun followed Zhan Yong and arrived at the center. There is a wall there and there are many large pillars on the wall. When Qin Yun saw those pillars, he is secretly alarmed. Because those pillars are all formation pillars. Moreover, they are all carved with very complicated runes. They look like runes that only immortal tools have. This is the residence of the patriarch. Zhan Yong said, Brother Qin Yun, later you must be a bit more polite to the patriarch. Qin Yun nodded. Zhan Yong returned and even obtained a saber. The patriarch also learned about it and promptly came out. The patriarch is a thin and small old man with dark skin. However, He gives off a very strong feeling. He is a martial king. This patriarch is too strong. Qin Yun is extremely astonished. If he wasn't strong, this battle race tribe would have been gone a long time ago. Ling Yuner said, "It seems that in the entire tribe, only he is that strong." The patriarch's name is Zhan Qiong. After he saw Qin Yun, his narrowed old eyes suddenly widened a bit. Astonishment flashed through his eyes. "A Yong, you can go back now. I will properly receive this guest." Zhan Qiong said with a smile and then waved his hand. Zhan Yong nodded and promptly left. After Qin Yun entered the living room, Zhan Qiong promptly closed the door. "Are you here to take that thing?" Zhan Qiong spoke, and then took out a beast skin from a very simple and crude storage bag. After he opened the beast skin, he saw a person drawn on it. When Qin Yun saw the portrait, he could not help but be stunned. Chapter 750. Previous Life's Testament. Zhan Qiong compared Qin Yun's appearance and exclaimed in admiration, "It's been tens of thousands of years, we thought you wouldn't come." "Senior, where is that thing?" Qin Yun asked. "He is certain that it was placed here by his previous life. He just doesn't understand why his previous life placed it here." "Xiao Yun, your previous life must have understood the Nether Moon desolate domain very well. That's why you created an exit for Yu to escape. You seem to have set it up here a long time ago. Something must have happened later on and you didn't come back," Ling Yuner said. Qin Yun also feels the same way. Now, he also knows who made the formation pillars on the wall. It was his previous life. His previous life's Tao of inscription was indeed very outstanding. Zhan Qiong said, "Although you look exactly like the portrait, I still need to confirm your identity before I can give it to you." Qin Yun thought for a moment and said, "Senior, to tell you the truth, my previous life is already dead. I have reincarnated and my body is no longer the same as my previous life." Zhan Qiong said with a frown, "You also said that you might reincarnate or something. Your memories are gone?" Qin Yun nodded. "It doesn't matter. Even if you reincarnated, I can still confirm your identity." Zhan Qiong took out a golden box. The box is very beautiful. It is dazzling golden and carved with many runes. "Put your hand on it," Zhan Qiong said. Qin Yun placed his hand on the box. The box issued a kacha sound and the lid popped open. After the lid was opened, there is also a key inside. "Hee, very good." Zhan Qiong very happily laughed and said, "You can take back that thing now." Qin Yun is extremely amazed and asked, "Senior, did I refine this box?" "It was refined by you. You also set up a barrier around my courtyard. Our battle race has been saved many times because of this," Zhan Qiong said. "Every time there is a war, if we can't resist, our clansmen will enter the courtyard's barrier and survive the crisis." Qin Yun now understands why there are not many battle race people. Because if there are too many people, they won't be able to enter the barrier. "I really didn't expect that I would accidentally come here to take away the thing left behind by my previous life." Qin Yun is secretly happy in his heart. He followed Zhan Qiong into a staircase that leads underground. The staircase was very long and led deep underground. Qin Yun estimated that it was more than 1,000 meters deep. There is a pool below. Zhan Qiong picked up a chain and dragged out a large black ball from the depths of the pool. "Prophet, you can open it with that key. I'll go up first because when it's opened, there can't be anyone else around." After Zhan Qiong finished speaking, he quickly rushed up. Qin Yun held the key and curiously looked at the black ball. The black sphere was half his height and its surface was smooth like a black gem. With the help of the light, one could see that there were many runes on its smooth surface. What did I leave here in my previous life, or did I leave it for my reincarnated self? Qin Yun became even more curious. He also found the keyhole. Zhan Qiong had yet to walk out of the staircase and was still running frantically. Ling Yuner said, Little Yun, let's guess what's inside. Qin Yun thought for a moment and said, "It might be a powerful martial spirit." Ling Yun'er said with a smile, "I think it might be the Sun Soul." After Zhang Qiong left, Qin Yun inserted the keyhole. Gotcha! The sphere opened on its own and a small and exquisite moon appeared inside. It was very beautiful. "This is Inscription Spirit. Moon Lady Inscription Spirit." Ling Yun'er is extremely shocked. Your previous life actually stored such a precious inscription spirit here. Qin Yun is also overwhelmed by the sudden pleasant surprise. Moon Lady Inscription Spirit is even rarer than Star Lord Inscription Spirit. He also thought that he would be able to obtain it. And now, he actually obtained it just like that. Ling Yun'er is also incomparably pleasantly surprised. She quickly absorbed the Star Lord Inscription Spirit and fused it. Now, he has Beast King, Wildfire, Star Lord and Moon Lady, 4 kinds of inscription spirits. Any one of these inscription spirits can make people go crazy and he suddenly has 4 of them. Qin Yun also saw a black beast skin. He opened it and saw some words written on it. If your memories have awakened, you don't need to look. If your memories have not completely awakened, you must remember the contents written below. When Qin Yun saw the first sentence, he immediately became incomparably spirited. This is the clue left behind by his previous life after his reincarnation. First, if you meet an enemy from your previous life, if they are women, try not to argue with them. They will understand sooner or later. Second, before you cultivate to become a saint, don't clash with the devil immortal great emperor and the immortal emperor. Third, the Sun Emperor Inscription Spirit is in the sacred desolate. Don't look for it in the immortal desolate, it will only waste time. Fourth, find a woman called Yao Fong. If she is still alive, let her dig out the 9 Sun World Extermination Scripture from the Devil Immortal Great Emperor's memories. Fifth, if Yu is unable to obtain the Nether Moon, use the Moon Lady Inscription Spirit to refine a Nether Moon for her. The specific refining method is inside the shell. Look carefully. Sixth, try not to awaken all your memories or you might die again. After Qin Yun finished reading, he is extremely shocked, because his previous life seemed to have known that he would die and reincarnate a long time ago. He also felt that this is too ingenious. He did not awaken even the slightest bit of his memories, and he actually came here by accident. Yun'er, why did my previous life tell me not to awaken my memories? Qin Yun is very curious about this matter. Your previous life must have known some incredible secret. If you awaken your memories, maybe you will also walk the same path as your previous life. Ling Yun'er said. Qin Yun looked at the cracked spherical black shell. There are indeed many characters inside. He roughly looked at it. He did not expect that this shell could actually give birth to the Nether Moon. Moreover, the Nether Moon Desolate Domain's Nether Moon was also born from this shell. The specific method is rather complicated. With Qin Yun's current strength, he is still unable to do it. Therefore, he can only keep the shell. Qin Yun walked up the stairs and constantly shouted at Yao Fong, who is inside the 3rd pearl. Sister Yao Fong, I'm about to die. Qin Yun shouted. Originally, he did not want to lie to Yao Fong, but now he has no other choice. For the past 2 years, he has been calling Yao Fong every day, but Yao Fong never responded. Now, Yao Fong finally responded and she even came out from the 2nd pearl. What's wrong? After Yao Fong came out, she saw that Qin Yun is completely fine and her eyes immediately emitted incomparable anger. Because she hates Qin Yun the most. You lied to me again. Yao Fong furiously said. Qin Yun promptly handed over the beast skin to Yao Fong and then quickly told her about the Moon Lady Inscription Spirit. When Yao Fong saw the beast skin, her anger suddenly disappeared and she tightly frowned. 9 Sun World Extermination Scripture, 9 Sun World Extermination Scripture. It is actually in Devil Immortal Great Emperor's memory. Yao Fong muttered, she is very amazed. Sister Yao Fong, what is Nine Sun World Extermination scripture? Qin Yun promptly asked, he is incomparably curious. You don't need to know. If I find it, I will also pass it to you. Yao Fong looked at the beast's skin and said, you bastard, what kind of secret are you hiding? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, I also want to know. Sister Yao Fong, I caused you to be cursed. It seems like I have some other purpose. I don't want to swindle you, right? Yao Fong groaned. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I also don't know. It's all my past life's doing. Qin Yun sighed. Then what do we do now? Do it according to your past life's will. Yao Fong returned the beast's skin to Qin Yun. Sister Yao Fong, can you tell me what's inside the third pearl? Qin Yun giggled and said, I can't, you have entered Xian martial realm, I will naturally tell you. Yao Fong groaned and then entered the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. No matter, I obtained the Moon Lady inscription spirit anyways, ha 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 ha. Qin Yun happily jumped up and down, he dashed forward. There are some things written on the beast's skin. The Moon Lady inscription spirit was extracted from his past life and hidden here. Because among the inscription spirits, Moon Lady inscription spirit is very difficult to obtain and its use is also very great. It seems like my past life spent a lot of time searching for Sun Emperor inscription spirit. Qin Yun said with smile. Sun Emperor inscription spirit is used to carve sun runes. You don't have any sun runes now. It is useless even if you have Sun Emperor inscription spirit. Ling Yuner said. That's right. Qin Yun sensed the Moon Lady inscription spirit and became even more happy. Using the Moon Lady inscription spirit, he can make the moon runes he mastered stronger in the future and even improve their quality. Qin Yun walked out of the staircase and arrived at the top. He did not see Zhang Qiong. He walked out of Zhang Qiong's courtyard and there is no one outside. Outside the giant wall! Ling Yuner shouted. Qin Yun also sensed that there are many people outside. He promptly turned his body transparent and flew out. He saw Zhang Qiong and a group of battle race disciples standing outside with grave expressions. The battle race tribe with only a few thousand people is actually surrounded by hundreds of thousands of people. Those hundreds of thousands of people are also natives here. They are all riding giant wolves and their imposing manner is very frightening. Qin Yun did not expect that there would be so many people in the native tribe here. Zhang Qiong, as long as you submit to our Mad Wolf tribe, we will no longer destroy your tribe. Otherwise, even if you are still alive today, we will trample the tribe you painstakingly built into pieces. A tall and strong old man from the Mad Wolf tribe laughed loudly. The tall and strong old man from the Mad Wolf tribe is covered in scars and his body is also very strong. That kind of power fluctuation is that of a martial king. Although there are very few people in the battle race tribe, they are not afraid at all. Zhang Qiong said in a deep voice. Mad Wolf tribe, for tens of thousands of years, you have never conquered us. Now, don't even think about making us submit. At this time, a few elders of the battle race tribe also came out. The others also retreated inside the tribe's giant wall and entered Zhang Qiong's courtyard. At this time, Qin Yun suddenly appeared beside Zhang Qiong and said in a low voice, Senior, do you need my help? Chapter 751. Mad Wolf Tribe. Zhang Qiong's courtyard is protected by a barrier. After hiding inside, the Mad Wolf Tribe people will not be able to attack them. However, they can destroy the buildings they built outside. Although they can rebuild it, they still feel a great heartache. Moreover, the Mad Wolf Tribe will attack from time to time, and every time, they will completely destroy this place. Zhang Qiong also wants to get rid of the Mad Wolf Tribe, but he is weak. He is the only one in the battle race tribe who can fight. Moreover, he has to face the hundreds of thousands of Mad Wolf Tribe soldiers. Prophet, go back and hide, I don't need your help. Zhang Qiong also knows that Qin Yun's strength is limited. If they fight, he won't be able to block the Mad Wolf tribe's attack. After the Mad Wolf tribe leader saw Qin Yun, he laughed loudly and said, "You actually want to join hands with barbarians? Only one? This is too funny, this barbarian is just a piece of meat in my eyes, ha ha ha." The group of Mad Wolf tribe natives behind also burst into laughter. Zhang Qiong, are you planning to give this barbarian to me and then beg me for mercy? The Mad Wolf tribe leader said with sneer. Shut up. Zhang Qiong is very angry. Qin Yun is not afraid at all. He said with smile. You should be the leader of the Mad Wolf tribe, right? Your weapon looks pretty lousy. A dignified leader actually uses such a trash weapon, truly ridiculous. My weapon has been passed down through the hands of several leaders for 10,000 years. It is filled with the blood of all kinds of people, allowing us to become the strongest tribe. Only an ignorant barbarian like you doesn't know how terrifying my saber is. The Mad Wolf tribe leader is also somewhat angry. He promptly shouted loudly. The group of Mad Wolf tribe natives behind also grimaced in anger because their leader has been made fun of. Qin Yun took out a Xian saber and said with smile, Do you believe that I can cut your saber in half? Ha ha ha. The Mad Wolf tribe leader immediately burst into laughter. The hundreds of thousands of people behind also roared with laughter. Barbarians, I admit that you have a lot of tricks, but compared to weapons, you are still far too lacking. The Mad Wolf tribe leader jumped down from the back of a huge wolf and slowly walked towards Qin Yun. Zhang Qiong promptly blocked in front of Qin Yun. Mad Wolf leader pulled out his saber and extended it in front of Qin Yun. He said with sneer, Come and chop. When Qin Yun saw the saber, he knew that it was only a Xian tool. Among this group of natives, it could be considered a pretty good weapon. The material was also of high quality, and it had been tempered thousands of times. However, in Qin Yun's eyes, it was only a Xian tool embryo because there were no runes carved on it. After your saber is broken, don't cry. Qin Yun chuckled and then fiercely brandished his saber. Dang! After a crisp sound, the Mad Wolf leader's saber broke. The Mad Wolf leader looked at his broken saber. His eyes gradually widened, filled with anger and disbelief. His saber had really been cut in half. The Mad Wolf leader also had an urge to cry. That was a saber that was as precious as his lifeblood. Zhang Qiong is not surprised because he knows about Qin Yun's past life. He knows that he was a very powerful refiner. The natives of the Mad Wolf tribe were also so shocked that their mouths were agape. They stood there like fools. The saber passed down from their ancestors that their boss was so proud of was actually cut in half just like that. You were the one who extended your saber for him to chop. Zhang Qiong chuckled and then pulled Qin Yun back a distance. He is worried that the Mad Wolf leader would suddenly flip out. Although the Mad Wolf leader is furious, he quickly calmed down. Your saber is very good. So from now on, it's mine. After he finished speaking, a few natives of the Mad Wolf tribe rode their giant wolves and rushed over, surrounding Qin Yun and Zhang Qiong. As long as the Mad Wolf leader can snatch Qin Yun's saber, he will have an even better saber. Although my saber has been destroyed, it will allow me to obtain an even better saber. The Mad Wolf leader laughed loudly. This caused the Mad Wolf army to immediately shout loudly. Their morale immediately rose. Qin Yun said with a calm smile, My saber is in my storage magic tool. Only I can take it out. If you kill me, you won't be able to get anything out of it. The Mad Wolf leader is also very experienced and knowledgeable. He has also heard of storage magic tools, so he did not act rashly. Just now, everyone saw Qin Yun take out a saber and then it disappeared again. It must be hidden in a storage magic tool. If you kill me, your tribe won't have any good weapons. How will you fight everywhere in the future? Qin Yun said again. Weapons are very important to these natives. Qin Yun gave Zhang Yong a saber before, which made him extremely happy. In the eyes of the Mad Wolf leader, the value of a saber is much more valuable than Qin Yun's life. Therefore, he must seize Qin Yun's saber. Otherwise, he will end Qin Yun's life just like that. That would be a disastrous loss. "Give me the saber and I will retreat," the Mad Wolf leader said in a low voice. He does not want the natives of the tribe to hear such words. "I gave Senior Zhang Qiong an even better saber. Do you think your few battle kings can defeat Senior Zhang Qiong?" Qin Yun's calm expression caused the Mad Wolf leader to retreat a few steps. The Mad Wolf leader also knows that Zhang Qiong has a storage bag. It is also something he has always wanted to snatch. "Then what do you want?" the Mad Wolf leader said coldly. Qin Yun laughed and then said loudly, "Only the strong are worthy of my saber. Send someone with the same strength as me. As long as he defeats me, my saber will be his. When we fight, we won't use weapons." The Mad Wolf tribe's people immediately became excited. If they don't use weapons to fight, those so-called Xian warriors all feel that they can win. The Mad Wolf leader feels that Qin Yun is not that simple because he understands those barbarians. "Have you decided who to send?" Qin Yun asked. "As long as you defeat me, you can obtain my saber. If you lose, then quickly retreat. Only by fighting alone can you be considered a true warrior. Your hundreds of thousands of people are surrounded by a few thousand people. This is the behavior of barbarians." The Mad Wolf leader gritted his teeth. He wished he could pinch Qin Yun to death, but he is worried about Zhang Qiong. Zhang Qiong secretly admires Qin Yun. He alone is able to suppress the entire Mad Wolf tribe's aura. "Alright, I will now send out my Mad Wolf tribe's most outstanding Xian warrior. Lang Wei, come out!" the Mad Wolf leader shouted. A robust youth jumped down from the wolf's back and rushed out like a wolf. His speed is extremely fast. This also caused the group of Mad Wolf tribe people to burst into cheers. Lang Wei's speed is indeed very fast. Even Zhang Qiong is somewhat impressed. But in Qin Yun's eyes, it is nothing. "Leader, I will definitely defeat this barbarian and obtain his saber. I will give it to leader." Lang Wei glanced at Qin Yun. When he saw Qin Yun's thin and small body, his face immediately filled with disdain. "Good." The Mad Wolf leader laughed loudly. "Lang Wei, if you win, I will accept you as my son." This immediately caused the entire Mad Wolf tribe people to cry out in alarm. Because everyone knows that the Mad Wolf leader has no sons. The main reason is that his sons are too weak and died while he was training them. If Lang Wei becomes the son of the Mad Wolf leader, he will be the future leader of the tribe. Lang Wei became even more excited. He looked at Qin Yun and said with a disdainful smile, "Barbarian, don't worry, I won't kill you. Otherwise, I won't be able to get your saber. However, I will make you wish you were dead." Zhang Qiong is somewhat worried and asked in a low voice, "Prophet, can you deal with this guy? He is the strongest primary Xian warrior of the Mad Wolf tribe." "Senior, there's no problem. Pay attention to those old fellows at the side, in case they suddenly attack." Qin Yun is very calm at this moment. Zhang Qiong can only trust Qin Yun and slowly retreat. The Mad Wolf leader and the experts of the other tribes also quickly retreated, opening up a large area. In this kind of battle, as long as one can beat the opponent until they can't stand up, they will win. Qin Yun is also amazed at Lang Wei's body. It seems that he doesn't need to cultivate in any special way to possess formidable strength. The natives here are also the same. They are born with a very strong physique. "Barbarian, you provoked our leader. I will teach you a lesson right now." Lang Wei rushed over. His eyes are red. He is like an angry wolf running wildly. Qin Yun stood there and clearly saw Lang Wei's step. He is indeed imitating the charge of a wolf. Furthermore, his hands have turned into wolf claws, preparing to pounce. When Lang Wei is about 10 meters away from Qin Yun, he fiercely flew over and turned into a black shadow. Such incredible speed caused many warriors of the Mad Wolf tribe to cry out in alarm. However, Lang Wei pounced on empty air because Qin Yun suddenly dodged. "Teach me a lesson? You are not worthy." Qin Yun sneered and then let Ling Yun release a supergravity to suppress Lang Wei, who was rushing over. Lang Wei doesn't understand Qin Yun's fighting style at all. This sudden gravity pressure caught him unprepared, and he was pressed to the ground. Qin Yun walked over and fiercely stomped on Lang Wei's body a few times. He used vibration power and stomped on the ground, causing the earth to tremble. The people in the vicinity could all feel the tremors. And Lang Wei also vomited blood and howled in grief. Finally, Qin Yun sent Lang Wei flying with a kick and he landed at the feet of the Mad Wolf leader. The people of the Mad Wolf tribe were so shocked that they could not speak. "You lost, hurry up and retreat," Qin Yun said. At this time, Zhan Qiong also quickly arrived beside Qin Yun. However, the Mad Wolf tribe people found it hard to accept. They charged over in a grandiose manner, wanting to flatten the War Race tribe. And now their leader lost the tribe's strongest saber and Lang Wei suffered a crushing defeat. This made them feel extremely sullen. "Don't even think about it. All of you go to hell," the Mad Wolf leader roared. Flatten the Battle Race tribe for me." Zhan Qiong already knew that this would happen, so he was already prepared. "Prophet, let's go and hide in the courtyard," Zhan Qiong said. Chapter 752. Bone Dragon Evolution. Zhan Qiong doesn't know how Qin Yun will defend against the Mad Wolf army's attack. However, he believes that Qin Yun has that kind of power. Right now, he can only stay here and resist the Mad Wolf army with Qin Yun. Qin Yun is very clear that the reason why he entrusted such a precious thing to the Battle Race tribe in his previous life is because he fancied their quality. Tens of thousands of years have passed and the patriarchs of the Battle Race tribe have changed many times. However, they are still guarding this place and have never given up on protecting the Moon Lady inscription spirit. Just based on this, Qin Yun absolutely cannot let the Battle Race tribe be flattened. Over the years, the Battle Race tribe has been flattened many times. Every time, they would definitely feel pain and anger, but they would always be strong enough to rebuild their homes. When Qin Yun thought of these matters, he felt extremely furious in his heart. "Mad Wolf tribe, you have killed so many people from the Battle Race tribe over the years. Today, I will make you pay with your blood." Qin Yun's angry voice, accompanied by vibration power, shook the heaven and earth. At the same time, he also released an earthquake divine ability power towards the spacious area in front of him. There are hundreds of thousands of soldiers rushing over. At this moment, the ground suddenly cracked and collapsed, sinking several hundred meters down. Currently, Qin Yun's control over the earthquake divine ability power is very precise. He only destroyed the area in front of him. The Battle Race tribe city behind him did not suffer any damage at all. Hundreds of thousands of Mad Wolf armies sank into the collapsed ground in an instant. A large number of huge wolves also fled in panic, trampling on many Mad Wolf tribe warriors. Zhan Qiong and the leader of the Mad Wolf tribe are incomparably shocked. They all know very well that this is the power released by Qin Yun. "Kill that brat for me," the Mad Wolf leader roared. Zhan Qiong rushed out and shouted, "Don't even think about succeeding." At the same time, Qin Yun also released the Devil Star Overlord. The Devil Star Overlord held Qin Yun's 9-Sun Divine Hammer in its hand and charged at a few Mad Wolf tribe battle kings, attacking them crazily. The Devil Star Overlord has 3 heads and 6 arms, and its defense is extremely strong. Even if it is hit, it will not die immediately. The Mad Wolf tribe only has a dozen or so martial kings at most. Furthermore, they don't have any weapons. It must be known that Qin Yun's Devil Star Overlord killed many powerful martial kings and martial emperors in the Sword Immortal Pavilion. Zhan Qiong initially thought that he would have to fight with his life on the line. After all, it would be extremely strenuous for him to be besieged by so many battle kings. And now, seeing the powerful Devil Star Overlord appear, Zhang Qiong felt a lot more at ease, and was pleasantly surprised in his heart. The people of the Mad Wolf tribe never imagined that such a weak-looking barbarian would have so many tricks up his sleeves. He had defeated their Mad Wolf army in an instant and even released such a powerful big guy. The pressure on Zhang Qiong lessened by a lot, because when he is unable to defeat the Devil Star Overlord, he can hide behind the Devil Star Overlord. The Mad Wolf leader's weapon has already been destroyed. Right now, he can only use his broken saber to hack at the Devil Star Overlord. However, he is unable to cause any harm to the Devil Star Overlord. The Mad Wolf army was still very strong, and quite a few soldiers had already crawled out. But just as they crawled out, Qin Yun used his Earthquake Divine ability again. The earth shook violently once again, causing the hundreds of thousands of people in the pit to sink deeper into it. Mad Wolf Tribe, I will turn you into a dead pig tribe. Qin Yun sneered and released the Bone Dragon. The appearance of the huge Bone Dragon caused the hundreds of thousands of Mad Wolf warriors who had fallen into the deep pit to immediately feel fear and despair. Roar! 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 The Bone Dragon roared and swooped down from the sky to the bottom of the huge pit. Then, it began to churn inside. Waves of miserable screams could be heard coming from the deep pit. A strong smell of blood permeated the heaven and earth. The white Bone Dragon is already covered in blood. What surprised Qin Yun is that after the Bone Dragon killed the Mad Wolf warriors, flesh and blood began to grow on its body. The Mad Wolf leader also felt despair because several battle kings who were as strong as him have already been hammered to death. Perhaps because Zhang Qiong is incomparably excited and agitated, it is as if he has been injected with chicken blood and attacked crazily. To their battle race tribe, the Mad Wolf tribe is an eternal nightmare that has always lingered in their hearts. Over the years, many of their warriors had gone out to hunt. Once they encountered the warriors of the Mad Wolf tribe, they would all be killed. Ever since Zhang Qiong became the patriarch, he could not remember how many times their battle race tribe had been destroyed. Every time he saw his tribe destroyed, he could only silently endure the humiliation and anger because they were simply too weak. They were simply unable to fight against the enormous Mad Wolf tribe. And now, Zhang Qiong finally had the chance to kill the leader of the Mad Wolf tribe. As long as they could kill the leader of the Mad Wolf tribe, their battle race tribe would be able to hold their heads high. Qin Yun is currently focused on controlling the Devil Star Overlord to deal with the few battle kings. Although the Devil Star Overlord's body has been cut a few times, it is completely fine. Only its skin was cut open, and it quickly recovered. After the Devil Star Overlord swallowed the Crystal Mountain, it became even stronger. Ling Yuner laughed tenderly and said, "Just like that, let's get rid of this group of despicable fellows." In the huge pit filled with blood, the Bone Dragon seems to be soaking in a bath of flesh and blood. Its entire body is covered in blood and it looks somewhat scary. One must know that there are hundreds of thousands of Mad Wolf warriors and hundreds of thousands of giant wolves down there. All of them have very strong bodies, and the Bone Dragon seems to know how to absorb the power of flesh and blood. It can devour the flesh and blood. Boom! Qin Yun controlled the Devil Star Overlord and hammered a Battle King to death, causing it to explode. And Zhang Qiong also killed 2 Battle Kings. Now there are only 4 Battle Kings left in the Mad Wolf tribe. The Devil Star Overlord and Zhang Qiong joined hands and quickly killed 3 more Battle Kings. Now only the Mad Wolf leader is left. Mad Wolf leader, today is the day you die. Zhang Qiong laughed loudly. You barbarian! The Mad Wolf leader is very clear that the reason why their Mad Wolf tribe was completely annihilated is all because of Qin Yun's power. Previously, he did not understand why Zhang Qiong called Qin Yun a prophet, but now, he finally understood. It is because Qin Yun has true ability that he became a prophet. Zhang Qiong laughed loudly and beheaded the Mad Wolf leader. Senior, congratulations on your revenge, Qin Yun said with a smile. Prophet, this is all because of your help. In your previous life, you helped our race. I never thought that you would help us again in this life. The excited Zhang Qiong was about to kneel down as he spoke, but was quickly stopped by Qin Yun. Qin Yun looked at the huge pit. The bone dragon is already buried inside, but it is still churning underground. Yun'er, what's going on with the bone dragon? It can actually devour flesh and blood by itself. Qin Yun is very shocked by this. It should be related to the dragon totem you carved, allowing it to have its own power. Ling Yun'er said, this kind of thing is not strange. Zhang Qiong's face is also filled with shock as he looked at the surging earth in front of him. Something happened to my pet, it will be fine. Qin Yun smiled. Senior, let the other clansmen stay in the courtyard for the time being. Don't let them out. I'm worried that my little pet will lose control and hurt them. Xiao Yun, didn't you catch an evil dragon in Zhilong City? After you placed it in the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron, you sealed it and then put it into a beast bag. Ling Yun'er said. Yes. Qin Yun also recalled that evil dragon. It was raised by the Medicine Immortal Valley. Quickly release it and feed it to the bone dragon, Ling Yun'er said. He quickly took out the beast bag and released the evil dragon from the beast bag. The evil dragon was only sealed and entered a state of slumber. After the seal was released, it roared and flew in the air. Roar! The bone dragon on the ground suddenly flew out. When Qin Yun saw the bone dragon appear, he is extremely shocked. The bone dragon's body is covered with red flesh and mud. The entire dragon's body is badly mutilated and it looks extremely frightening. The bone dragon leaped out and fiercely bit the evil dragon. After the evil dragon was bitten, the bone dragon quickly tore it apart with its claws. Just as the evil dragon was unsealed, it was torn apart by the bone dragon. The bone dragon quickly ate the evil dragon, and the mutilated flesh and blood on its body began to wriggle. Qin Yun doesn't know what happened. He only knows that the bone dragon is evolving. Is it going to grow new flesh and blood? Qin Yun had planned to take some time to use a large number of heavenly beast bones to refine flesh and blood for the bone dragon. When he thought of the heavenly beast bones, he suddenly had an idea and asked, Yun'er, I have hundreds of thousands of genes of heavenly beast bones. Do you think the bone dragon will eat them? Let's give it a try, Ling Yun'er said. Qin Yun obtained a lot of heavenly beast bones in the heavenly beast desolate domain. After he threw out a large pile, the bone dragon rushed over and ate them. Great! Soon after, Qin Yun also threw out a large number of heavenly beast bones, leaving only a few tens of thousands of genes for himself. Those sturdy heavenly beast bones are like crispy stick. They were chewed and eaten crisply by the bone dragon. Beast oil, Ling Yun'er suddenly shouted. The beast oil contains a large amount of energy. The bone dragon might be able to absorb it. After Qin Yun thought of this, he quickly leaped into the air and took out the mysterious bottle. He poured out a large amount of beast oil and poured it into the huge pit. The bone dragon and Qin Yun have a telepathic connection and quickly jumped into the huge pit. Qin Yun controlled the flow of the bottle and submerged the bone dragon. Zhang Qiong returned to his courtyard and appeased his clansmen. Then, he quickly ran out. He was also frightened by the dragon. The bone dragon is soaking in the beast oil. Qin Yun also saw and sensed that the bone dragon is absorbing the beast oil's energy. Great, this guy is going to evolve. I wonder what it will evolve into. Qin Yun did not expect such an unexpected surprise. Xiao Yun, I have an idea. It is to put your Devil Star Overlord inside. Ling Yun'er said, that dragon seems to have a very strong fusion ability. It can fuse with all kinds of other things. When Qin Yun heard Ling Yun'er's words, he sucked in a breath of cold air. Of course, there might be an accident. It will all be lost. Ling Yun said. If it really fuses, what will happen? Qin Yun's heart is beating wildly. Chapter 753. Nether Moon Abyss. Qin Yun is also at a loss as to whether or not he should put the Devil Star Overlord in. He is very worried that he would lose the Devil Star Overlord and the Bone Dragon. These two are very good puppets. Losing any one of them would be very painful. Moreover, these two puppets have a lot of room for growth. After Qin Yun obtained the two inscription spirits, Star Lord and Moon Lady, he carved a large number of star and moon runes into them. It will definitely make the two puppets stronger. If these two puppets can fuse together, they will definitely become stronger. Qin Yun is incomparably conflicted in his heart. He asked, Yuner, should I give it a try? It's up to you. I'm just giving you a hint. I won't help you make the decision. If you fail, you'll definitely blame me. Ling Yuner giggled and said, If you want to choose whether or not you want a beauty, I can help you decide. You damned girl! Qin Yun cursed in a low voice. Qin Yun looked at the large pit of beast oil below and felt even more conflicted. Let's give it a try. Qin Yun gritted his teeth and threw the Devil Star Overlord down. After the Devil Star Overlord went down, the bone dragon covered in beast oil and flesh suddenly leaped up and wrapped around the Devil Star Overlord. Soon after, the huge dragon opened its mouth and bit towards the Devil Star Overlord. Damn it, it's been eaten. Qin Yun is even more worried. The dragon did not tear the Devil Star Overlord apart because the Devil Star Overlord has a very tough body. It is not that easy to tear it apart. The huge dragon is now like a python swallowing its prey. It swallowed the Devil Star Overlord bit by bit, causing its body to bulge. After the Devil Star Overlord was swallowed, the huge dragon's body overflowed with a golden light. The golden light slowly shrank and absorbed a large amount of beast oil into the dragon's body. The huge dragon's body is also wrapped up in a ball, its entire body is shrouded in a golden mist. Inconceivably, the huge dragon's mouth is spitting out silk, it is spinning a cocoon. What the hell, the dragon is spitting silk? Ling Yuner shouted in shock. This dragon shouldn't be a proper dragon. Qin Yun also felt a lot more at ease. This means that the dragon can evolve and is not crippled. Little Yun, you got this dragon from the Cloud Dragon Mountain Range. It shouldn't be an ordinary dragon. Ling Yuner said, Yang, this duckling, ate the dragon meat and also entered a state of evolution. Yes. I wonder when this dragon will be able to break out of its cocoon. Qin Yun looked at the huge golden chrysalis and let out a long sigh of relief. Previously, he was worried that the dragon and the Devil Star Overlord would be finished. The giant golden cocoon was an eye-opener for Zhan Qiong. He was also an old man who had lived for many years, but this was the first time he had seen something like this. It was enough for him to brag for many years. Qin Yun stored the golden giant cocoon and said to Zhan Qiong with a smile, Senior, it's done now. The tribe is also safe. Thank you, Prophet. Zhan Qiong smiled and nodded. The Prophet is truly capable, to be able to destroy the Mad Wolf tribe by himself. Qin Yun and Zhan Qiong chatted as they walked into the tribe's city. Zhan Qiong also got the clansmen in the courtyard to come out and thank Qin Yun. After Qin Yun exchanged greetings with the battle race people, he entered Zhan Qiong's house. Senior, do you know how to leave the Nether Moon Desolate Domain? Qin Yun asked. About this legend has it that there is a Nether Moon abyss here and there is an undercurrent that can open this world through the undercurrent. Zhan Qiong said, but that place is very dangerous. What kind of danger? Qin Yun asked. On the two walls of the abyss, there are many terrifying nether evil beasts and evil spirits. Zhan Qiong said with a frown, Prophet, if you go, you must make sufficient preparations. Qin Yun nodded and said, I know. In the following period of time, Qin Yun is also making preparations. He is frantically crafting talismans. Fortunately, he has Yao Fong, a powerful immortal, to help him, so he can quickly refine many talismans. Furthermore, he also helped Zhang Qiong greatly. He expanded the courtyard's defensive formation to cover the entire city. This way, if they were attacked again, the Battle Race tribe would not fall. The Mad Wolf leader's head is hung in front of the Battle Race tribe's gate. In order to increase his proficiency in refining tools, Qin Yun also refined many Xian tools for the tribe's people. Now, he can use the 9 Sun Divine Hammer and Inscription Spirit to refine tools. He can refine pretty good Xian tools in the time it takes to eat a meal. I can now refine high-quality Xian tools. Qin Yun has made sufficient preparations in the past few months. When Qin Yun refined tools, he did it in the basement of Zhang Qiong's house. There is an energy source below, so it can maintain the tribe's great formation. Qin Yun is now in seclusion below. The Battle Race tribe's people are very reluctant to see Qin Yun leave. They all obtained very strong Xian tools and storage pouches, so they are very grateful and respectful to Qin Yun. Zhang Qiong naturally wants Qin Yun to stay, but he knows that Qin Yun has very important things to do. Qin Yun is in seclusion in the 1,000-meter deep basement. He has now entered a very critical moment. He is about to condense Xian Spirit Dao Crystal. The Dao Crystal Jades and Xian Heart Crystals he obtained from you have also been used up. Yao Fong has been by Qin Yun's side for the past few days. Because Qin Yun has entered a very critical stage. While Qin Yun is cultivating, he sensed that the interior of his Nether Sun Dao core is frantically revolving. A large amount of energy is condensing. The energy inside his bones and flesh is also frantically pouring into the Nether Sun Dao core. I'm about to succeed. Qin Yun frowned and clenched his fist. Qin Yun suddenly sensed a violent and ferocious energy flow coming out of his body, producing a burst of humming sound. 9-colored energy wave gushed out from Qin Yun's body, causing Yao Fong to be endlessly shocked. Qin Yun, you can absorb the power of 9 suns through the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. You might be able to cultivate 9 Sun Divine Body in the future. Yao Fong suddenly said. 9 Sun Divine Body? I have Immortal Devil Body now, it's pretty good. Qin Yun opened his eyes. He has successfully condensed Xian Spirit Dao Crystal. He can use it to condense weak Xian power. The peak of Immortal Devil Body is only Immortal Devil Sacred Body. And 9 Sun Divine Body is the strongest. Of course, 9 Sun Divine Body only exists in legends. Yao Fong said. She saw that Qin Yun has smoothly broken through and entered the 9 Sun Divine Spirit's third pearl. Qin Yun secretly released a bit of Xian power. It is basically impossible to use it in battle. Now he can only condense a bit of Xian power through Xian Spirit Dao Crystal. The main function is to turn Dao Core into Xian Dao Core. This is a very long process. Only by cultivating Xian Dao Core can he release formidable Xian Dao power. Qin Yun walked out of the secret room and came to the top. He bid farewell to Zhang Qiong. Zhang Qiong and a group of people sent him off from the tribe and held a very grand farewell ceremony. Qin Yun left the Battle Race tribe and rushed towards the west. The legendary Nether Moon Abyss is at the west of the remote Moon Mountain Range. Sister Yao Fong, did you discover anything from the Devil Immortal Great Emperor's memories? Qin Yun asked. 9 Sun World Extermination Scripture is indeed in his memories. But the memories are very scattered, I need to reassemble them. Yao Fong said. Qin Yun has been unable to contact Xieqiru for the past few months. This caused him to feel very worried. Sister Yao Fong, are there any sun souls that drop from Spirit Desolate and Devil Desolate? Qin Yun asked curiously. There are, but they must have been taken away a long time ago. Yao Fong said. Back then, a large group of people from Immortal Desolate could descend into Spirit Desolate and Devil Desolate. Do you think they would let go of the sun souls here? What a pity! Qin Yun sighed. You already have 2 sun souls, what's a pity? Yao Feng said, You must properly use those 2 sun souls. That's for sure. Qin Yun looked at Yang Yang. He is still in a large group, still sleeping. Qin Yun has nothing to fear now. If he encounters any danger, even without the Devil Star Overlord, Yao Feng is here. Yao Feng also promised Qin Yun that she would not go into seclusion during this period of time until he safely reached the Spirit Desolate. The Nether Moon Desolate Domain is very big. Qin Yun flew for more than 10 days, but he still did not see the abyss that spanned across the Nether Moon Desolate Domain. Could it be that it's really just a legend? Qin Yun is doubtful in his heart. Ling Yuner said, Be patient and continue forward. Even if we can't see the Nether Moon abyss, we can still reach the edge of the Desolate Domain. After Qin Yun cultivated the Xian Spirit Dao Crystal, although he was still unable to use Xian power, the Xian Spirit Dao Crystal allowed his entire body's strength to increase by a lot. This would allow him to have sufficient strength to continuously fly at high speed. After flying for an entire month, Qin Yun finally saw the Nether Moon Abyss. The Nether Moon Abyss spanned across the entire desolate domain and was tens of thousands of meters wide. From the sky, it looked like a huge scar on the earth. During the day, Qin Yun looked at it from the sky and felt very shocked. This is indeed not a legend. Great! Qin Yun is immediately pleasantly surprised and increased his speed to fly over. After Qin Yun flew over, he suddenly saw a group of people beside the abyss. The group of people held a very long stick in their hands and sat beside the abyss, as if they are fishing. These people are separated by dozens of meters. It really looks like they are fishing. But that is the Nether Moon Abyss, not a river. Suddenly, a person fiercely lifted the stick and a mass of black gas emerged from the abyss. A gigantic salamander was pulled up. Those people are really fishing, but they are not fishing, they are fishing for lizard dragons. Qin Yun, who is in the distance, saw this scene and is extremely astonished. After the lizard dragon was pulled out, that person quickly retreated and dragged the lizard dragon to the back. Then, a group of people pounced over and killed the lizard dragon. Qin Yun saw that the group of people are relatively easy to talk to and walked over with ease. Those people seem to be the natives of this place because they don't use any attribute power and they are also relatively friendly. After Qin Yun went over, he also attracted the attention of those people. They were vigilant at first, but when they saw that Qin Yun has no ill intentions, they felt relieved. Qin Yun did not say a word. He only curiously watched those people fishing the lizard dragon. Young man, do you want to leave this abyss? An old man wearing a conical bamboo hat asked with a smile. Qin Yun hurriedly said, Senior, is it really possible to leave the desolate domain from the bottom of the Nether Moon Abyss? Chapter 754. Great Emperor Battlefield. When Qin Yun heard the elder's words, he felt a lot more at ease. At least it was true. Senior, what powerful things are down there? Qin Yun stood at the edge and looked at the bottomless abyss. Too many. The salamander we've fished up now is only the weakest. There are all kinds of strange magical beasts down there. The old man chuckled. Little brother, if you really plan to go down, it's no different from suicide. Qin Yun said with a frown. If I want to leave the Nether Moon Desolate Domain, I can only choose to leave from below. The old man sighed. Indeed, this is the only way. But even the strongest of us don't dare to go down. For example, that moon immortal Xie Ying is the strongest here, and he doesn't dare to go down. Xie Ying was already dead, killed by Devil Immortal Great Emperor's shadow slave. Qin Yun also knew that Xie Ying was very strong. He was an Immortal King level expert. Senior, what you said about Netherworld Great Emperor, is it true? Qin Yun is suddenly very curious about this matter. The old man stroked his beard and said, I can't be sure, this is just a legend. Back then, the Devil Immortal Great Emperor and the Netherworld Great Emperor had enmity, and they were very powerful. Even if they fought in the Immortal Desolate, it would have a great impact on the Immortal Desolate. Later on, they invited the Immortal Desolate Great Emperor. The three Great Emperors built this place together, and called it the Great Emperor Battlefield. As such, the Netherworld Great Emperor and the Demon Immortal Great Emperor were able to fight to their heart's content here. In the end, the Netherworld Great Emperor lost and was even killed. Hearing these legends, Qin Yun is secretly astonished. Then he sent a sound transmission to Yao Fong, telling her to dig through Devil Immortal Great Emperor's memories to see if this matter really happened. Because Devil Immortal Great Emperor used a special curse on Yao Fong, she has a mysterious connection with Devil Immortal Great Emperor, allowing her to pry into Devil Immortal Great Emperor's memories without him knowing. Something is coming up. The old man suddenly chuckled and said, "It's been more than 10 days. There's finally some movement." The old man's strength was close to that of a martial king. He used all his strength to lift the long pole and pulled up a lizard dragon with a wingspan of 20 to 30 meters. It was not very big, but the old man was very happy. The lizard dragon was hung up and fiercely thrown onto the empty ground behind it. The others hurried over to help and killed the lizard dragon together. The people who fish here all help each other. After killing the lizard dragon, the others continued fishing. The old man chuckled as he cut the salamander's meat. Qin Yun also discovered that the fishing tools used by this group of people were very good, especially the fishing rod and rope. It looked so thin, but it was very tough. It was able to catch such a huge salamander. "Senior, do you need my help?" Qin Yun felt that he could chat with the elder. "Just call me Old Man Wang." The old man chuckled. Qin Yun took out a few throwing knives and controlled them to quickly cut at the lizard dragon. His speed was so fast that Old Man Wang was dumbstruck. "Little brother, you really have some skill." Old Man Wang became even more happy and said with smile, "Old Man Wang, I've been trapped here for 2 years. I really want to leave, but I don't understand the situation below. What should I do?" Qin Yun sighed and asked. Old Man Wang said with grave expression, "Every season, a kind of phenomenon will appear. It is the 9 suns in the sky. They will stand straight up in the sky above the abyss. At that time, they will be able to suppress the evil devils and evil spirits below the abyss. You need to find the way out before the sun deviates from the abyss. If you can't find it, you must immediately come up. Many people have tried, but very few have succeeded. Many people died down there because they didn't have enough time to come up. Is there really no one who succeeded?" Qin Yun also feels that it is somewhat unfathomable. There is, but it mainly depends on luck. Because there are many evil devils and evil spirits down there, this is the main cause of death, Old Man Wang said. Qin Yun thought about it and felt that if he went down there shouldn't be any problem. After all, Yao Fong is here. Furthermore, he had the overwhelming righteous power and the power of darkness. The power of darkness allowed him to hide, while the power of overwhelming righteousness made the evil spirits retreat. "Sister Yao Fong, I am preparing to jump down into the abyss." Qin Yun said to Yao Fong, who is in the 3rd pearl, "Have you found the Devil Immortal Great Emperor's memories? Don't be in such a hurry to go down. Wait here for a period of time. Wait for the 9 suns to line up in the sky above the abyss and then go down." Yao Fong said. "Why?" Qin Yun is somewhat amazed. Yao Fong can't hear outside. She certainly doesn't know what the old man is talking about. However, she knows that the 9 suns line up in the sky. Because there is a weapon at the bottom of the abyss. It is the Nether Spirit Sacred Blade used by the Netherworld Great Emperor. Although it is damaged, after a period of time, it can absorb the power of the 9 suns and repair itself. Yao Fong said, "You want me to go find that weapon?" Qin Yun asked. "Yes. The Nether Spirit Sacred Blade is a very famous divine weapon. It is also the thing that the devil immortal great emperor feared the most. Back when the devil immortal great emperor and the netherworld great emperor fought, he used a lot of power to cut and destroy the nether spirit sacred blade. Yao Feng said, "That netherworld great emperor True Water had such a powerful thing, but it was still killed." Qin Yun feels that the netherworld great emperor is only SOSO. If it was a one-on-one fight, the one who would have died would have been the devil immortal great emperor. After the devil immortal great emperor destroyed the nether spirit sacred blade, he himself was seriously injured. Later on, it was the immortal desolate great emperor's sneak attack that succeeded and killed the netherworld great emperor. Yao Feng's tone is filled with disdain when she spoke of this matter. Isn't the immortal desolate great emperor an immortal emperor? In the immortal desolate, he should be a rather upright character. Qin Yun suddenly recalled the matter regarding Xieqiru. It is said that the immortal emperor was jealous that his daughter had good things. He was worried that his daughter would be stronger than him, so he sealed Xieqiru. They are all the same dirty guys. Yao Feng said, "After you go down, you don't need to be afraid of any evil spirits. You must concentrate your mind and sense the aura of the nether spirit's sacred blade." Qin Yun is also somewhat excited. He doesn't have a very good saber now. Although he can refine it himself, it is at most a Xian tool. If he could obtain the nether spirit sacred blade, he wouldn't need to use the 9 Sun Divine Hammer all day long. In the following period of time, Qin Yun stayed beside the abyss all day long, watching those people fishing. He also helped cut the lizard dragon meat and obtained a large number of beast bones. Qin Yun waited for more than 2 months. Finally, one day at noon, the 9 suns appeared in the sky above the abyss. Today, those people didn't fish. Many of them jumped into the abyss one after another. Little brother, remember to grasp the time. There are only more than 2 hours left. If you can't find the way, come up immediately. Old man Wang warned. And goodbye. Qin Yun finished speaking and also jumped into the abyss. In order to seize the time, Qin Yun asked Ling Yun to release gravity, making him even heavier and fiercely falling down. After a short while, he fell to the bottom. When he went down, he saw that there are all kinds of holes on both sides of the abyss. It is the hiding place of the devil beasts. The light of the 9 suns in the sky shone down and those devil beasts didn't come out. The bottom of the abyss is uneven. There are many broken clothes. Devil beasts eat people, they only spit out clothes. Qin Yun released his formidable mental power to sense the other auras below. He, who possesses the 9 Sun Divine Spirit, is very sensitive to the flow of 9 Sun spiritual energy. Very soon, he sensed a direction that is absorbing a large amount of 9 Sun spiritual energy. He quickly ran in that direction. Qin Yun is not in a hurry to find the exit, instead, he is looking for the nether spirit sacred blade. 2 hours later, the abyss began to darken and the 9 suns began to shift away from the abyss. I can only determine one direction now. Qin Yun thought that he would be able to find it very quickly, but now he discovered that the place is very far away. The abyss is very long. Qin Yun flew towards one side. Half an hour later, the abyss became dark and black fog gradually appeared, completely blocking out the little bit of light. Qin Yun also used shadow power to hide himself in the darkness. At this moment, he also heard all kinds of devil beasts' cries, as well as the sound of flapping wings. At the bottom of the abyss, devils are dancing chaotically. Qin Yun looked at the sky. There are many multicolored specks of light. They are the eyes of devil beasts shining. Only Qin Yun can calmly fly. If it were anyone else, they might be scared to death. A few days later, Qin Yun, who was flying in the abyss, stopped. Because there is a huge pit here, it is several hundred meters wide. Could the nether spirit's sacred blade be down there? Qin Yun took out a fire talisman and threw it down. It burned with violent flame. Qin Yun looked at the falling fire talisman until it was extinguished. Not to the bottom. Qin Yun took out another cannonball and threw it down. A short moment after the cannonball fell down, a wave of flame suddenly surged up. It's pretty deep. Qin Yun took a deep breath, confirmed that Yao Fang is not in seclusion, and then jumped down. He also discovered that there are no devil beasts hiding in the deep pit. Those devil beasts also don't dare to approach. Not long after, Qin Yun finally arrived at the bottom. He sensed that something is absorbing the remnant flame power. Sure enough, it's down here. Qin Yun carefully walked towards that direction. He took out a light-emitting stone to illuminate the area below. After a while, he saw the saber hilt, then excitedly walked over, grabbed the hilt and pulled out the saber. After the saber was pulled out, there is no other reaction. Is this the Nether Spirit's sacred blade? Qin Yun's first impression of this divine weapon is that it is very simple and crude. There are some cracks on the saber body, there are no runes on it, it is just a broken saber. He feels that it is at least similar to Nine Sun Divine Hammer. Nine Sun Divine Hammer looks very beautiful. Xiao Yun, this Nether Spirit's sacred blade is damaged, it is still repairing itself. Ling Yuner said. Chapter 755. Space-Time Tunnel. After Qin Yun obtained the Nether Spirit's sacred blade, he immediately informed Yao Fang about this good news. After Yao Fang learned of this, she immediately came out from the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. Seeing her come out, Qin Yun handed over the Nether Soul's sacred blade to her. Yao Fang carefully looked and said, "Worthy of being called a powerful divine weapon." Back then Devil Immortal Great Emperor used half his life to damage the Nether Spirit's sacred blade. Even if it's heavily damaged, it's still stronger than most weapons. Qin Yun, you have the Nine Sun Divine Spirit, you should be able to quickly recover. Qin Yun said with smile. How strong is this damaged Nether Spirit's sacred blade compared to those Dao tools and King tools? Yao Fang returned the Nether Soul's sacred blade to Qin Yun and said, I don't know about this, if you have the opportunity, you can go and compare. She looked all around and said, because the Nether Spirit's sacred blade was damaged, it was thrown into this place together with the Netherworld Great Emperor. According to the memories of the Devil Immortal Great Emperor, the Netherworld Great Emperor was killed by them. Could it be that Netherworld Great Emperor is not dead? Qin Yun is slightly startled. He promptly held the Nether Spirit's sacred blade tightly. Give it a try and see if the Nether Spirit's sacred blade's master recognition ability is still there. If it is, then even if Netherworld Great Emperor is still around, you won't be able to recognize him as master. Yao Fang said. Qin Yun promptly dripped blood on the Nether Spirit's sacred blade, but discovered that there is no reaction at all. Netherworld Great Emperor is still alive. Yao Fang's eyes are filled with shock. If he is still alive, where is he? If the Nether Soul's sacred blade doesn't recognize me as its master, I won't be able to use its special abilities, right? Qin Yun gave it a try and found that he could successfully inject his energy into it. However, he felt that something was missing. That's right. But let's use it for now. Although there are cracks on the surface of this weapon, it was once a peerless divine weapon. Yao Fang patted Qin Yun's shoulder and then returned to the Nine Sun Divine Soul. Qin Yun also doesn't feel anything, after all, the Nether Spirit's sacred blade is just an unexpected pleasant surprise to him, nothing more. Even if he couldn't fully possess it, it was good enough to be able to use it temporarily. Just as Yao Fang entered the Nine Sun Divine Soul, Qin Yun sensed the Nether Soul's sacred blade slightly trembling. What's going on? Qin Yun was alarmed. It's an artifact spirit. There is an artifact spirit inside the Nether Spirit's sacred blade. Ling Yuner said. It's just that the artifact spirit can't communicate with you, let me do it. Ling Yuner was a Dao spirit, so she could deal with all kinds of spirit bodies. Not long after, Ling Yuner said to Qin Yun in surprise, Xiao Yun, Netherworld Great Emperor is not dead. At least his soul is still alive. Qin Yun frowned and said, Really? Where is the Netherworld Great Emperor? Ling Yun'er said, The artifact spirit also doesn't know because the Netherworld Great Emperor is not in the Nether Moon Abyss. After you go to the Spirit Desolate, I will ask the artifact spirit. Maybe the Netherworld Great Emperor is in the Spirit Desolate. Alright. Qin Yun felt that the Netherworld Great Emperor should be on his side. After all, he had enmity with the Devil Immortal Great Emperor and the Immortal Desolate Great Emperor. If he could find the Netherworld Great Emperor, it would mean that he would have a powerful backer in the future. Ling Yun'er said happily, Xiao Yun, the artifact spirit knows how to leave the Nether Moon Desolate domain, you can let it take you away. Subsequently, Ling Yun'er communicated with the artifact spirit for a period of time and knew the direction to go out. Under the guidance of the artifact spirit, Qin Yun left the deep pit, arrived at the top and flew towards a certain direction. According to the description of the artifact spirit, it is not easy to leave because the journey is long and there are many dangers. Qin Yun is not afraid of danger because Yao Feng is here. Xiao Yun, if you want to leave the Nether Moon Desolate domain, you need to pass through a space-time passage. Sister Yao Feng should not be able to come out from that space-time passage, so it is still quite dangerous. Ling Yun'er said. Whatever, let's talk about it when we get there. No matter what, I have to leave the Nether Moon Desolate domain as soon as possible. Qin Yun has important things to do in the Spirit Desolate. After going to the Spirit Desolate, he will be able to find resources and quickly step into the Xian martial realm. Xieqiru seems to have something important for him to do, but she needs him to reach the Xian martial realm first. Following the guidance of the artifact spirit, Qin Yun flew for more than 10 days and finally arrived at a place at the bottom of the abyss. There is a very large black quagmire here. The exit is at the bottom of the quagmire, you just need to drill down. Ling Yun'er said, There shouldn't be any danger down there, it's just that the space-time passage is rather difficult to pass through. Qin Yun told this matter to Yao Feng. Yao Feng said, The space-time passage is formed by super-strong energy, so there is a lot of very strong tyrannical energy inside. If you are not strong enough, you will definitely be torn apart by the space-time passage. Qin Yun, you have cultivated immortal devil body, so there shouldn't be any problem. However, you must remember, when passing through, don't use magic tools and the like. If those things cause chaos in the space-time passage, you will be trapped inside. Qin Yun made a lot of preparations and refined many talismans before, but now he can't use them. He took a few deep breaths and then jumped into the black quagmire. After jumping down, he felt a strong suction force sucking him down. Very soon, he discovered that he has appeared in a brightly colored passage, surrounded by all kinds of dazzling light. Xiao Yun, quickly go through. In the space-time passage, time is very unstable, sometimes it is fast, sometimes it is slow. It is possible that if you are inside for an hour, more than 10 days or even a few months have passed outside. Ling Yun'er said. Really? After Qin Yun heard this, he promptly walked forward. Just after taking a few steps, he felt a strong resistance. That help is strange and terrifying. He doesn't know what is going on, but as long as he walked forward, his body would feel a stabbing pain, all kinds of tyrannical energy would drill into his body. He can't resist that kind of power. Xiao Yun, the power inside the space-time passage can't be resisted. It can travel through space and suddenly appear inside your body. Ling Yun'er said, Hold on, quickly go through. Qin Yun gritted his teeth and quickly moved forward. With every step he took, the pain he endured became more intense. Fortunately, he cultivated immortal devil body. Not only did it give him a powerful body, it also gave him an incomparably terrifying willpower. This kind of pain is nothing to him. Qin Yun endured the pain and madly ran through the space-time passage. He doesn't know how long he will have to run, he only knows that at the end of this passage, he will return to the spirit desolate. It hurts. When Qin Yun ran, his body feels like it is being pierced by 10,000 needles. With every step, his body will feel that kind of pain. When Qin Yun cultivated a mortal devil body, although he has already been baptized by endless pain, he can't help but roar in pain. How long is it? Qin Yun ran wildly and couldn't see the end. He felt very irritated. Soon, Ling Yun'er said. Qin Yun ran for a few days and suddenly felt that he had bumped into something. Then, a dazzling light appeared in front of him. Soon after, the familiar 9 suns spiritual energy of the spirit desolate arrived, making his heart rejoice. I'm finally out, ha ha ha. Qin Yun looked at the 9 suns in the sky and felt that the 9 suns are a little bigger. You are high in the sky, Ling Yun'er said. At this moment, the space-time power has completely separated from Qin Yun. Qin Yun also fell down fiercely. Qin Yun, who is injured, can't use his power to float. Bang! Qin Yun fell from the sky. Ouch! Qin Yun shouted in pain. The place where he fell is a wasteland, but there is a savage beast. It is a crocodile-shaped reptilian beast with many thorns on its body. When Qin Yun fell, his upper body smashed a few thorns on the back of the devil beast. As a result, the giant beast was smashed to the ground and cried out in pain. Qin Yun has a mortal devil body. Falling from the sky, his power is very strong. Quickly go! A middle-aged man shouted. Soon after, Qin Yun heard all kinds of attacks. Master, don't hit the person up there, he is not dead yet, a young man shouted. Don't worry about it, quickly get rid of this devil beast, it is worth 500,000 purple crystal coins. Another young man laughed loudly. Boom boom boom. Soon after, Qin Yun also felt his body being hit by all kinds of energy. Xian martial realm Xian Dao power is relatively more. Finally, the devil beast was killed and Qin Yun was taken down. Qin Yun's current appearance is too horrible to look at. The small team of hunting devil beasts is also incomparably astonished, because Qin Yun is not dead. Moreover, Qin Yun fell down and broke those hard thorns, his body was not pierced. Does this guy have some kind of armor on his body? A young man's eyes are filled with greed as he said. His clothes are already tattered like this, how can he have any treasure armor? The red-clothed woman looked at Qin Yun's miserable state and said with heartache. Qin Yun's self-recovery speed is very fast, the injuries on his body are also healing very quickly. The red-clothed woman is not very beautiful, her face is a bit round and her eyes are very big. Although she is not beautiful, her eyes are filled with gentle concern. I'm fine. Qin Yun slowly stood up but his body is still in pain. Currently, Qin Yun's entire body is dirty, his hair is very messy, he looks like a beggar. Big brother, why did you suddenly fall down? The red-clothed woman asked in low voice. I also don't know, I was flying and then I fell down. Thank you for your concern. Qin Yun laughed and then asked, That's right, what is this place? What state? This is the Proud Star State, the red-clothed woman said. Oh, that's good. Qin Yun was worried that he would fall to another place. At that time, he might need time to run back to the Proud Star State. Everyone else is dealing with the devil beast, only the red-clothed woman is accompanying Qin Yun. Those few people are very disdainful towards Qin Yun. After all, Qin Yun looks dirty and very poor. His strength also doesn't seem to be very strong. It is just strange that when he smashed the devil beast's body, he was not pierced by those sharp thorns. Qin Yun and the red-clothed woman are sitting there resting. Suddenly, a large rain of arrows flew over from the distance. Xiu xiu xiu. Tens of thousands of arrows shot over like torrential rain. In the blink of an eye, they pierced through those few people. Chapter 756. Sword Martial Assembly. Qin Yun is sitting beside the red-clothed woman, so when the arrows shot over, he released a barrier to block them. Qin Yun is not surprised at all that this kind of thing suddenly happened. That devil beast seems to be of good quality. It is worth hundreds of thousands of purple crystal coins. There must be other bandits and the like in the vicinity. Qin Yun promptly grabbed the red-clothed woman's hand and said in low voice, "Don't panic." The red-clothed woman's face is already streaming with tears. Especially when she saw the miserable state of her master and fellow disciples, she felt even more sad and fearful. A group of people suddenly rushed out. They are all hiding behind rocks in the distance. There are several hundred of them. Great, without using any power, we obtained a devil beast worth hundreds of thousands of purple crystal coins and a few good corpses. A dark-skinned bearded man laughed out loud. "Big brother, there are 2 more people over there." A middle-aged man laughed sinisterly. "The woman is not too good-looking, the man is like trash. Capture him and kill him to eat, it's more fresh this way." The bearded man looked at Qin Yun and the red-clothed woman and said with disdain. Qin Yun can also sense that this group of people are overflowing with devil energy. They are a group of devil cultivators. That big brother is a Xian martial realm martial monarch. Qin Yun has nothing to be afraid of. And the red-clothed woman beside him is shivering in fear because she knows that this group of murderers are the kind that eat people. "Big brother, quickly run, I will try my best to resist for a while," the red-clothed woman said in low voice. Her voice is also trembling. This actually made Qin Yun feel very moved. Because even though the red-clothed woman is scared to this extent, she still wants to protect him. "We will be fine." Qin Yun smiled at the red-clothed woman and released a few throwing knives. Just as he was about to make his move, dozens of auras suddenly arrived. Another group of people arrived. "Big brother, it's those bitches from Demon Moon Island," a middle-aged man shouted. Indeed, a group of women wearing red tight clothes. They are holding weapons in their hands and like a burst of fire, they rushed into the group of murderers and began killing. They look like delicate women, but when killing those murderers, they are not the least bit lenient. Although Qin Yun did not need to make a move, he was still paying attention. He controlled the flying daggers to provide cover. He did not want to see those delicate girls get injured. The woman in red beside him was relieved to see that someone had come to help. Not long after, the group of villains were killed. Qin Yun sat at the side and laughed self-deprecatingly. "I thought I could show off my skills, but now there's no need. That group of villains are all devil cultivators. We have been tracking them for a long time." "Are you all right?" A middle-aged woman walked over and asked Qin Yun and the red-dressed woman. "No problem," Qin Yun said. The red-robed woman wiped away her tears and shook her head. A few women walked over, looked at Qin Yun and asked, "Who are you?" I was just passing by and got injured. I was saved by this young lady." Qin Yun quickly explained, "And this young lady is with those hunters. They are my master and senior brother, but they are all dead now." The woman in red held back her tears as she pointed at the corpses covered in arrows. At this moment, a woman from Demon Moon Island pulled the red-clothed woman up and kindly comforted her. However, they are not so polite to Qin Yun. Each and every one of them looked at Qin Yun with suspicion. "Who the hell are you?" the middle-aged woman asked in a stern voice. "All right, I won't hide it anymore. I am Qin Yun," Qin Yun said loudly. His relationship with Demon Moon Island is also very good. "You are Qin Yun." The middle-aged woman cannot help but laugh. "But no matter how I look at it, it doesn't look like it?" Qin Yun disappeared for 6 years and then suddenly appeared here? 6 years? Qin Yun is stunned. He remembers that he only stayed in the Nether Moon desolate domain for more than 2 years. Damn space-time channel, he cursed in his heart. He did not stay in the space-time channel for long, but a few years have passed. The other women also walked over and looked at Qin Yun with giggles. "Qin Yun is very handsome. You look like you came out from a garbage dump. That's right. He is not as handsome and confident as the rumors say. His eyes are pretty good, but his face is a bit dirty and he is also injured. Don't tell me they have the same name? A group of women are discussing among themselves. I am the missing Qin Yun, Qin Yun said with a serious expression. Are you really Qin Yun? The middle-aged woman stared at Qin Yun with a frown and said again. Qin Yun possesses the Heavenly Lion Totem and knows how to use the Heavenly Lion Totem martial arts. Qin Yun curled his lips and then used Heavenly Lion Fighting Dragon Claw, releasing a domineering huge lion claw. Seeing this scene, the group of women from Demon Moon Island are all stunned. Now do you believe that I am Qin Yun? Qin Yun said with a smile. I just returned from that damned Nether Moon desolate domain, that's why I am like this. The female disciples of Demon Moon Island cheered one by one. Furthermore, they talked nonsense about Qin Yun. They did not despise him for being dirty, and even advised him to join Demon Moon Island and become their disciple. After being tormented by them for a while, Qin Yun finally calmed down. At this time, Qin Yun also understood that after the incident in the Nether Moon desolate domain, the situation in the Spirit Desolate has also changed greatly. The sects and families of several large states have formed an alliance. As for Yang Shuriwe, she has also become the target of many people's crusade. Therefore, Demon Moon Island also allied with the Sword Immortal Pavilion and the Immortal Weapon City. In this way, the other powers did not dare to touch Demon Moon Island. Now, everyone believes that the Star Lord Inscription Spirit on Demon Moon Island and the Immortal Moon Origin are also very precious. Even some of the powers in the Xian domain sent people out to buy the Star Lord Inscription Spirit at a high price. In the past few years, the outstanding disciples of the major powers have also advanced by leaps and bounds. The main reason is that the Nether Moon desolate domain will not be long before some stars fall, along with a large amount of resources and star beasts. The star cores of those star beasts contain a strange energy that can allow people to quickly break through. Qin Yun, I heard that the Nether Moon desolate domain has collapsed. What did you experience inside? A petite woman asked curiously. Qin Yun drank a mouthful of juice and said with a long sigh. I stayed in the Nether Moon desolate domain for 2 years, looking for a way out. Later on, I found a way out. It was a space-time tunnel. I only stayed in the space-time tunnel for a few days and a few years passed outside. In the end, I fell down from above. The middle-aged woman in the lead said, Qin Yun, we are going to the Sword Immortal Pavilion to participate in a sword martial assembly. The Sword Immortal Pavilion created another layer on top of that floating island. Now there are 2 floating islands there. The Sword Immortal Villa also moved to the upper layer, so now they are inviting us to join in the fun. The Sword Immortal Pavilion obtained some immortal star origin. It is said that it is even more powerful than Immortal Fate. Therefore, they have grown very quickly in the past few years. They claim to be the most powerful immortal sect. Qin Yun, there will definitely be a martial arts competition in the Sword Martial Assembly. If you go, you might be able to. A woman spoke to this point and did not continue, because Qin Yun missed out on a few years. Sword Immortal Pavilion's Jian Nanhu, what is his current cultivation? Qin Yun asked. Xian Martial Realm Martial Monarch. Furthermore, he cultivates a very powerful 7-star sword art. It is a very strong martial art. A woman replied. How did they break through so quickly? Qin Yun also has a sad expression. He feels that he has fallen behind a lot. Qin Yun, we are going to the Sword Immortal Pavilion. Are you coming with us? The middle-aged woman asked. But you must keep it a secret. Don't let anyone know that I am Qin Yun. Otherwise, they will capture me to threaten Big Sister Yang. Qin Yun said. Big Sister Yang also went to the Sword Martial Assembly. She is also at the Xian Martial Realm and is one of the few people who can defeat Jian Nanhu. The few women also began to talk about the sword martial meet, because in the last martial arts tournament, their Demon Moon Island won an immortal origin. Qin Yun, when our Demon Moon Island disciples go out, we will also keep our identities a secret. Right now, there are too many powers that want to deal with us, and we will split into multiple teams later. What about Xiao Yuelon? Is she also going to participate in that sword martial assembly? Qin Yun asked hurriedly. Junior sister Yuelon, she did not go. She is in seclusion. Junior sister Yuelon is very diligent in seclusion, the middle-aged woman said. All right, I won't go first. I want to return to the immortal weapon city, Qin Yun said. Qin Yun did not participate. Those women are only somewhat disappointed. However, it is understandable because Qin Yun missed out on a few years. The next morning, after Qin Yun cleaned himself up, the injuries on his body healed. After changing into clean clothes, he looked handsome and spirited, causing the beautiful eyes of the female disciples of Demon Moon Island to emit little stars. Qin Yun followed the group of women and walked to a large road, preparing to part ways. I'm going back to the immortal weapon city. Senior and junior sisters, goodbye, Qin Yun said with a smile. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly sensed someone flying in the sky. Damn it, it's the people from the Myriad Star sect. A female disciple groaned. These guys are very annoying. Those female disciples all became very unhappy. There are more than 100 disciples from the Myriad Star sect. It seems like they are going to participate in that sword martial assembly. Qin Yun did not leave, he just watched from here. The disciples of the Myriad Star sect also slowly descended. What sect are you disciples from? A middle-aged man asked. The middle-aged woman was about to speak when Qin Yun suddenly said, We are from the Inscription Gate. What sect are you from? Inscription Gate? Isn't it a third-rate sect? Why are there so many female disciples? A young man looked at the group of beautiful female disciples, and an evil light flashed in his eyes. You're wrong. Our Inscription Gate is not a third-rate sect but an unranked sect, Qin Yun said with a chuckle. And I am the sect master of the Inscription Gate. Ha ha. Looking at your aura, you have only just cultivated the Xian Spirit Tao Crystal. You are only a martial master at the peak of the spirit martial realm, and you are the sect master? The middle-aged man laughed loudly. Our Inscription Gate is not proud of our martial power but rather our inscription, Qin Yun said with a smile. I don't think many of you understand inscription, right? Inscription is such a profound thing. Not to mention ordinary disciples, even many martial kings and martial emperors would not be able to understand it. The people from the Myriad Star sect did not speak because none of them understood inscription. Chapter 757. Undercurrent Surges. The middle-aged man leading the Myriad Star sect is not someone to be trifled with. When he saw how young Qin Yun is, he questioned and sneered. Who doesn't know how to brag? You are a young man and you are an inscription master. Furthermore, you are the sect master of some inscription gate. Only a fool would believe you. If I said that I am a Tao inscription master, would you believe me? Qin Yun faintly smiled and took out a talisman paper and a very simple and crude carving knife. He quickly carved some runes on the talisman paper. Very quickly, he finished crafting a talisman. Qin Yun controlled the talisman to float over and said, I just made this talisman. If you don't believe that I am an inscription master, stick this talisman on the back of your hand. Ha ha ha. You casually made a talisman, are you trying to trick a child? The middle-aged man from the Myriad Star sect laughed loudly. The other disciples of the Myriad Star sect also roared with laughter. Stick it on the back of your hand and you will know if it is a talisman or not. Qin Yun smiled. The female disciples of Demon Moon Island did not know what Qin Yun was going to do, so they just watched from the side. They also knew that Qin Yun's talent in inscription is without a doubt number one among the youths. The middle-aged man from the Myriad Star sect stuck Qin Yun's talisman on the back of his hand and raised it high. He laughed loudly and said, "Everyone look, this is the talisman made by the sect master of the inscription gate. It is very powerful, ha ha ha, even a child can do it better than him." The disciples of the Myriad Star sect all laughed loudly. Just as they were laughing, a crisp "pa" sound suddenly rang out. The laughter also came to an abrupt end. The middle-aged man from the Myriad Star sect actually ruthlessly slapped himself. That middle-aged man also saw a ghost as he looked at his own hand. Pa. The middle-aged man slapped himself again. Then, as if his hand was out of control, he kept slapping his own face. This caused the group of women behind Qin Yun to giggle delicately. "Quickly help me get that talisman off," the middle-aged man shouted. He himself was unable to remove the talisman. A few disciples rushed over and spent a lot of effort to remove the talisman. You bastard!" The middle-aged man's face turned red from being slapped by himself. He furiously pointed at Qin Yun. "You stuck that talisman on your hand. Who told you not to believe my words?" Qin Yun said with smile. "Bastard, I'm going to kill you!" The middle-aged man from the Myriad Star sect roared. The middle-aged woman from Demon Moon Island also rushed over and blocked in front of Qin Yun. She said in a deep voice, "Try and attack." "So what if I do? What can a bunch of women like you do to us?" The middle-aged man laughed sinisterly and said, "Senior and junior brothers, capture them and let them accompany us to have fun." Myriad Star sect, you bastards! The women of Demon Moon Island were furious. "Go! Charge! CK them to death, ha ha!" The disciples of the Myriad Star sect all grinned evilly, took out their weapons and rushed over. When Qin Yun saw the disciples of the Myriad Star sect coming over, he threw out 2 body-securing talismans and shouted, "Quickly go take care of them." The group of female disciples of Demon Moon Island are also elite disciples. They quickly reacted and rushed over, mercilessly brandishing the weapons in their hands. In an instant, more than 100 disciples of the Myriad Star sect were killed by the dozens of female disciples of Demon Moon Island. They lay on the ground and wailed. The female disciples of Demon Moon Island are not weak. When they kill evil people, they don't even blink. Now, a few female disciples went over to finish them off. Sect Master is truly amazing. A charming woman walked over with a charming smile. "Alright, you guys should also head to the Sword Immortal Pavilion. Be careful on the way, we'll talk about it after we return to the Immortal Weapon City. If I can make it in time, I'll also go to the Sword Immortal Pavilion to join in the fun," Qin Yun said with a smile. Finally, he warned the group of women not to leak the news of his return. Qin Yun flew in the air, rushing back to the Immortal Weapon City. On the way, he found a place without people, took out the Immortal Graveyard diagram and dripped blood on it. However, he was still unable to contact Siekiru. He very much wants to know what happened to Siekiru. She has not contacted him for a long time. The security of the Immortal Weapon City's city gate is even stricter. People who enter must be interrogated, and there are special tools to check whether they are devil cultivators or not. Because the Immortal Weapon City has become the enemy of several great powers. Soaring Dragon State's Long family has gathered all the Long family branch families of several states and formed an extremely dreadful power. Moreover, they claim to be the #1 family of the Spirit Desolate Ordinary Realm. Then there is the Jian family. The sects controlled by the Jian family branch families of several states are now heading towards the Sword Immortal Pavilion. Jian family also sensed the threat of the Long family. Therefore, Jian Shutian took advantage of the Sword Martial Assembly to gather the Jian family members of several states. The other Yu family, Yang family and Tian family also want to gather together. However, internal strife has appeared among them. Because no one is willing to submit to anyone, moreover, they want to choose a boss. Therefore, they would rather be mountain kings in their own territory and not gather together. As a result, these large families with great potential became a pile of loose sand. Qin Yun stood outside the city gate and thought for a moment. Then he used mysterious penetration divine ability and passed through the barrier. Because he has cultivated a mortal devil body, it is very likely that he will be detected. After entering the immortal weapon city, he went straight to the immortal weapon palace. Qin Yun quietly returned to the immortal weapon palace. No one knows that he has returned. After returning, he immediately went to the Lawkeeper Hall's courtyard. Granny Ma is currently training some disciples in the courtyard. She suddenly sensed Qin Yun's aura and also saw Qin Yun, who is wearing black clothes and bamboo hat. She excitedly walked over and brought Qin Yun into a secret room. "Granny Ma, I am back," Qin Yun said with smile. "It's good that you are back." Granny Ma also breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Qin Yun with a chuckle. "Did Sect Master and the others go to the Sword Martial Assembly?" Qin Yun asked. "Indeed. We have 200 to 300 people this time." Granny Ma's expression suddenly became grave. "This Sword Martial Assembly looks like a grand meeting, but it is actually the gathering of all the elites of the Jian family. The situation outside the spirit desolate ordinary realm is so tense. Could it be that there is someone secretly pushing this?" Qin Yun also thought of something. "Indeed. Xian domain is now in chaos. Several factions are hostile to each other. Sooner or later they will start fighting. And they are worried that after fighting, our ordinary realm's powerful factions will attack." Granny Ma nodded. "Just like Xian domain causing chaos in our ordinary realm, they are not afraid," Qin Yun said with sneer. "Indeed. Therefore, Jian family is holding the Sword Martial Assembly to gather all the Jian family people. They plan to gather all the Jian family's power in the Proud Star State and then join hands with our sects to stabilize the Proud Star State. Then they will create the illusion of chaos and wait for the Xian domain to start fighting, then we will slaughter our way in and occupy a place in the Xian domain." "Qin Yun, this is a secret, don't talk about it carelessly," Granny Ma said. "What about Long family? They seem to have the same idea," Qin Yun asked. "Long family has Xian domain's power behind them. Long family is gathering together to create chaos in the ordinary realm," Granny Ma said. "Qiaofeng has been summoned back, she will no longer be a disciple of our immortal weapon city." Qin Yun and Granny Ma chatted for a while, and then rushed to the immortal weapon palace hall. From Granny Ma, he learned that Jian Linglong, Jian Rian, Jian Mang and other Jian family members also went to the Sword Immortal Pavilion. Qin Yun arrived at the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall. As usual, Bing Xing is quietly sitting beside the Immortal Pool. After Qin Yun entered the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall, he saw the elegant and beautiful Star Spirit Immortal and felt very at ease. Bing Xing also knows that Qin Yun has returned. She is very excited in her heart. However, she is acting very calm. She slowly opened her pair of beautiful eyes that are like stars. Her beautiful face is very calm. "Sister Bing Xing, I'm back." Qin Yun giggled and said, "Did you miss me?" "No." Bing Xing lightly groaned. "I thought you were dead. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to cultivate with you these past few years." Qin Yun walked over, took out a small bottle and handed it over. "Through the immortal devil sacred body art, I can also cultivate very quickly." Bing Xing took the bottle and took a look. She discovered that there are many 9 revolution immortal power pills inside. She could not help but feel warmth in her heart. Because Qin Yun has been thinking about this matter for all these years. "You must have had a good time inside these past few years." Bing Xing looked at Qin Yun. Her beautiful eyes flashed with tenderness. "Not bad. I condensed Xian Spirit Tao Crystal in the Nether Moon Desolate Domain. Qin Yun let out a long sigh, then slowly sat down and explained why he only returned after a few years. After he finished speaking, he cursed in low voice. It's all because of that damned space-time channel that I wasted several years of my time. Bingxing said, It's not easy for you to come back. Shuriwei came to find me many times to discuss with me how to enter the Nether Moon desolate domain to save you, but there was no good way. Sister Yang really cares about me, Qin Yun said with a very happy smile. Let's go. I'll use the Sun and Moon immortal bed with you and enter the Sun and Moon spacetime realm. I'll pass on some of the essentials of the immortal devil sacred body art to you. It will help you release even stronger power through the immortal devil body. Bingxing grabbed Qin Yun's hand and dragged him into the immortal pool. The current Qin Yun can lie on the Sun and Moon immortal bed with Bingxing for 4 days. His consciousness is equivalent to 4 years. With his perception and Bingxing's help, he has improved a lot in all kinds of martial arts in 4 years. Qin Yun, there's still some time. You should properly digest the things you've learned these past few days. Bingxing said, I'll go out first. Bingxing left the Sun and Moon spacetime realm, but she still held hands with Qin Yun, letting him stay inside. Qin Yun can't sense what's happening outside. He is very seriously using all kinds of martial arts. Xiao Yun, Sister Bingxing is taking advantage of you again. Ling Yun'er giggled and said, Hurry up and wake up. This star spirit immortal, I really can't do anything to her. Qin Yun cursed in low voice. He also wanted to wake up but failed. Not long after, Qin Yun woke up from the Sun and Moon immortal bed. Bingxing is standing beside the bed with a calm expression. Qin Yun doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. He doesn't know what's wrong with this immortal. She always likes to secretly take advantage of him. Are you going to participate in the Sword Martial Assembly? Yueme came to talk to me about it some time ago. She also wants to join in on the fun. Bingxing said, I'm not interested in the Sword Martial Assembly. I'm going to find Yueme. I have an important matter to discuss with this damned girl. There was an accident before and it delayed me for several years. Qin Yun recalled his soul-refining plan and abruptly jumped up from the Sun and Moon immortal bed. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.